Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the stream that answers the question why will Neil get arrested? Thank you for coming today on this late stream. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, you're very well welcome. We are currently streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So if you're on either, please do join in. We also have a Discord link which should be posted right up on the chat. The live chat. It is also also be posted on YouTube descriptions and on the the account profile on the goddamn Twitch. Thank you for coming to the stream. We do have to talk about a bit more. There is an update on the Venezuela. I think, know who's the next leader of Venezuela is. At this time, there is an interim leader by the name of Delcy. Hold on, let me just correct my Delcy Rodriguez. Delcy Rodriguez, yes. That is the current standing leader of Venezuela. We then are going to be speaking about what is happening with SRK, as we know that because of he has a Bangladeshi player on the KKR. Sorry, I nearly said KKK. He has a Bangladeshi player on the KKR, so everyone's freaking out. Everyone's calling him a traitor, though Ambani also has a Bangladeshi player, and no one's talking anything about him. Then we have the arrest of the folk singer. Her name is Neha Singh Rathore. I forget she exists from time to time, to be honest with you. But she does very good within our field, within what we are trying to do, in creating awareness about these issues. Let's get into it soon. But the fun fact: Delcy's parents. Yes, I know. I'm getting to it. Yeah. Leave it to Bliss to steal what I was going to be like, oh my god, this is going to happen, like bang, 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 and leave it to Bliss to steal that. But yeah, Delcy Rodriguez's parents were murdered and tortured by a CIA-backed initiative that was supported by Machado's family back in 2000s or something. Around the time of Chavez. So yeah, no, it is fucking bullshit. Like CIA shouldn't be anywhere close into Venezuela, but it is, as it is in every country that has ever been either affiliated or even not affiliated with the US. There is CIA in India as well, if people don't know. And they do control a lot of few things. Like any country that is friends with America or any country that is in opposition with America, you have CIA presence. So nearly in every single country, other than a country like, I would argue there is CIA even in like Russia at this point. Like they delve into every fucking single thing. Yeah, so let's begin because CIA was successful. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can argue that CIA and CIA and the RSS are connected. Like RSS can be claimed to be backed by the CIA. Modi historically was trained by America. Yeah, they achieved regime change in 2014. So if people who don't know this, the then Congress government was always in opposition with the US, even though they did were on good terms with it. They tried to be on better terms. But since Indira Gandhi, the CIA has always wanted a regime change in India because of the absolute shaming of Nixon back in 1970s that happened due to Indira Gandhi being a really strong leader. Since then, they have wished for a regime change. That's why you can all see that a lot of funding that comes to the RSS and the BJP is from the CIA. Or like, let's just say USAID. USAID, for people who do not know, is US's soft power program that gives money to Africa and whatnot. But that is always a guise. It's a guise to promote people like Machado, people like Modi, people and support people like Erdogan. Whenever you see USAID putting in money anywhere, that generally is like, hey, the CIA is going to try and do a regime change if it ever wants. That is an actual problem with the fucking CIA because their hands are everywhere. They try to be everywhere. We talk about, oh, how good is the fucking Mossad, but like, nah. CIA is always better, and Mossad works with the CIA a lot. Like, if anyone is ever surprised that the CIA, if anyone is ever under the impression that the CIA did not know about the Epstein list or Epstein files even before it came into public, you are wrong. CIA always knew it. They have been keeping it. It is a CIA Mossad operation at the end of the day to control the population. How much of this is controlled by Israel itself and how much of it is controlled by America is debatable. You do not want to know what I think, and I'm not going to say it for obvious fucking reasons. Anyway, I again have forgotten to start recording, so we are going to start recording right now. Perfect. Hello and welcome again. I'm not going to do an entire starting monologue again. It is whatever. Let's just begin with this. We normally wait for people to come in, but again, this is very late. This is extremely late. I'm just going to drop a few messages here and there. And that is all we are going to do today. We may have a little bit lower amount of people today, but that is perfectly fine. As you can see, there's a lot of few changes. We are streaming on Twitch as well today. We will be doing this from now onwards because, again, my internet is stable, which is good, so it's just fine. The chat and everything is connected to Streamlabs. So if you are on Twitch or if you are on YouTube, you are going to see all of the chat right over here. Jesus, over here. I am fucking stupid. Same goes for the game stream and information stream. All the chat is condensed into one chat. So if you don't see a message, don't worry. They might be on the other platform. Yeah. I think we're overall getting better at this. Let's yeah, fuck it. Also, what the fuck is going on with Indian Twitter right now? Like, because I can see some posts saying that India needs to take over Japan or something. Like, what the fuck is going on with that? Why do they care about Japan? Oh, so much shit going on. Let's just start. Yeah. Like Hindu Rashtra is like talking about, because not just you, I saw someone else talking about it as well. Like Japan is apparently Hindu Rashtra as well. I have no clue what that was. Okay, better. This normal shit, normal Indian hate shit. Oh, Jesus. Oh, also today with the Neha, it's going to be fucking brutal. Also, there has been a development in the whole Venezuela case where I think UK has received like a shipment from America, a huge shipment. So that, like, if Libya is to be considered and if Iraq is to be considered, they emptied up the gold reserves in Venezuela and moved it to goddamn the UK as usual. is fucking stupid. Like, I don't know why we fuck with US as much as we do anymore. Like, seriously, regime change in 2025, way too much and way too stupid. Anyway, let's begin. So, what is going on? This is just to keep up with the current news on what is going on right now over here. We are going to start with who is Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. Obviously, we are using CNN. CNN is going to be partial towards American interests. So I will stop whenever there is something to be added. If there isn't, there isn't. The whole situation is always, as usual, the whole situation is dicey. Do not take it such a way that, oh, one side is good, one side is bad. Obviously, US is worse in this scenario. What they say about Machado is also true. She is bad as well. And Maduro has not been good either. The point here is, like, whatever side you are on, this is bad for the Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan people who are in the US currently will tell you that, hey, we won this, Maduro was bad, thank God he's gone. But as we have seen before with Iraq, even if Iraqis welcomed the US invasion with open arms, saying like, hey, we won this, let us have this, things did not pan out well for them. As you can see today, like, where is Iraq? Iraq is being completely ripped off from their oil resources, while ExxonMobil makes money, America makes money, and the people of Iraq are suffering. So this is exactly what is going to happen. As before, that is my prediction on this matter, where if this is continued, where ExxonMobil and BP and whatever and Shell are allowed to work within Venezuela, they are going to be ripped off from their own money. Poverty is going to rise extremely. If you remember, within history, after Chavez took over and he nationalized the resources of Venezuela, especially the energy resources as they are called, which means the oil of Venezuela, poverty within Venezuela was cut by half. And with the worsening conditions, especially since Maduro took over, can also be attributed to the extreme sanctions US has placed on them for trading since Maduro took over, because Maduro did not have the favor of the US. Neither did Chavez, but Chavez, I think, was a bit more smarter. I like Chavez a bit more than Maduro, to be honest with you. There have been consistent rallies and protests. I mean, they are backed by the US. Let's get this straight. Within Venezuela, since Maduro took over, as well as a form of regime change. But that is in the past. At this point, that we are way past that point. So let's just start.
Well, the Supreme Court has ordered
So just to mention here, she is currently not in Venezuela itself. She is currently in Russia.
As CNN's Paula Newt reports, she struck a defiant tone on her first day leading
defiant tone after obviously you invaded her country, and then now you're claiming that she's having a defiant tone. Like, come on, like there is something, like, the gall of the American media to be like, oh, she's having a defiant tone. Like, shouldn't she? Like, should she just be subservient to US interests at this point? Like, come on, you literally kidnapped their president.
Just hours after the dramatic extraction of her president by US forces.
Kidnapping. I did not think I should be jumping here directly, but it's called kidnapping. Okay, it did not bring the economy to its knees. The economy was doing much better under Chavez. The only issue that started happening was America kept successively sanctioning them and making sure that they do not get to trade with Europe. They do not get to trade with Asia. That is under the U.S. hegemony. That was the reason why there was so much instability. Imagine a country being continuously sanctioned by nearly half the world, not allowed to trade with anyone, not allowed to exchange goods. Do you really think there would not be any instability?
I didn't.
Remember, Venezuelan opposition is supported by the CIA and Machado, and as Bliss said earlier, her father was killed and not just killed, tortured to death by the CIA. And the CIA and that part is backed by Machado's family. And yes, Machado is not just a revolutionary leader anyway. She is in a line of lineage. That's why she gets to be where she is.
Warn the country about the threat of foreign intervention. Crucially, as energy minister, she also has been a steady hand in funneling Venezuela's dwindling energy revenues to the regime. Seen here,
Dwindling energy revenues because of the US sanctions, not because they are doing anything wrong in this scenario.
last month with state workers, she says,
Hay que decirle al señor Trump.
"We have something to tell Mr. Trump. Venezuela doesn't owe the U.S. anything." And yet, Rodriguez has for many years been sanctioned by Canada, the EU, and the United States. CNN attempted to question her in 2016 after a CNN investigation uncovered a scheme to illegally sell Venezuelan passports out of the country's embassy in Iraq. Rodriguez, then the foreign minister, refused to comment to CNN on every occasion. In keeping with her political pedigree, Rodriguez has a less than subtle message for the Trump administration as she demanded Maduro's release. Her involvement in any future transition in Venezuela will be challenging. Paula Newton, CNN.
Well, joining me now from Oxfordshire is Vanessa Neumann, a Venezuelan-American diplomat, business owner, author and political theorist. Vanessa, great to see you again. It's been a while since you and I have spoken. I know it's been a moment of celebration for many Venezuelans in and outside of the country, and also a moment of deep anxiety from the Venezuelans I've been speaking to inside the country. Just give us a sense of what you're feeling first and what the mood is from what you gather inside the country.
Indeed, and it's such a pleasure to be with you again. I've missed you. The mood in Venezuela is one of concern right now, and confusion more than anything. So there are several things. One, everybody is delighted by most people are delighted by the photograph of Maduro, handcuffed and with the blindfolds and the earmuffs on the Iwo Jima, heading back to the United States. It reminded me of the capture of Abimael Guzman, who later The Shining Path was put in a cage. It made him human. It took away the terror and all this fear that Venezuelans have had with these 18,000 political prisoners and extrajudicial killings and tortures. He seemed like a superhuman who could never be captured. And now we know he is human. He can be captured. People within the Maduro enclave can be captured, and we can one day have democracy again. So that's hope. That's one.
He is captured on literally charges like, we are charging you for drug trafficking in New York, Southern District of New York. And yeah, when you're in Venezuela and you're the president of Venezuela, those charges don't really count. It's like an Indian getting charged in Timbuktu for something that they may or may not have done in India. It's fucking stupid. Like, they literally invaded a region and took over.
One sentiment. On the other sentiment, there is great concern about the fact that Delcy Rodriguez, who is not a nice woman, but is very, very intelligent. She's multilingual, fluent.
She's not a nice woman. That is not a factor that anyway should have been considered at any point of time within this conversation. Having said that, not a nice woman to the US. Obviously, they killed her father and tortured him to death. How the fuck do you consider, like, how do you fuck do you consider someone, oh, she's not a nice woman? Obviously, she's not nice to you, you fucking dipshit.
In English and French, and the chief negotiator, I have seen it firsthand. I haven't been fed this by the U.S. government or the Venezuelan opposition. I have been present during phone calls where people were negotiating with her to give Maduro money or to keep Maduro in power. So I am aware of that. And she will give a little dance to the Trump team who think that she will be their puppet, but she's nobody's puppet. However, that's one thing. I think they will get tired of being danced around by her, Rubio and Hegseth. And on the other hand, she faces a huge challenge because she's not a military, like Diosdado Cabello and Padrino Lopez, who's the two military, one's the head of the military and the other one is a military commander who's head of the party. They're very, very bad guys. And they will want to command whatever's left of military morale. They will want to command whatever's left of military morale to sideline her. So she may well be stabbed in the back by her own party.
So many good points that you made.
It is very unlikely that she would be stabbed in the back by her own party. Let's understand this. All of they are going to do is mostly lie to you because they don't want the people of America, UK and Europe to think that, oh, we are losing this because we fucked up majorly.
Not much better than Maduro.
Yeah, look, so many good points you made. Let me start, first of all, we'll talk about the Interior and Defense Minister in just a moment. But let me get your thoughts, first of, on Delcy Rodriguez. She's now the president, well, VP, obviously, but she's been, you've seen the Supreme Court, she's now been handed over the reins, of course, of the country. We've had President Trump saying that she will do what we ask of her, almost painting a picture, Vanessa, that of her being slightly more pragmatic. What is your sense? Because what I heard from you yesterday is, you know, we will never be a colony. We want Maduro back. Is this just lip service, or do you think that Chavez?
So basically what they're saying is like, oh, we want Venezuela to be a colony. We want to be a colonial power. And we need a leader who would make Venezuela a colony of the US. That is what basically she's saying. There's nothing more to it.
Is not dead.
Oof, I think Chavismo is not dead. I think there are two different things, right? So there are Chavismo, there are a few hardcore ideologues who've always been there, always will be there, right? Who really believe in Chavismo. And don't forget, this is a country like Cuba. I know you know this extremely well, where there's a whole lot of propaganda. People within Venezuela, unless you have a smartphone, really don't have a lot of access to reality. They get fed these lines. Second of all, I think they have to keep up this line.
Literally, most of America doesn't have access to reality. They are fed propaganda as news. So does India. Like, it's not too different, but still.
For their own survival. On the other hand, there is the aspect of their own survival, right? They are all facing drug charges. Delcy Rodriguez has done, I think was it the New York Times? Has done a PR job. Yeah, where she said, Delcy the moderate. And everybody in Venezuela was like, Delcy's not a moderate. She has been, remember what I said at the beginning, she's a negotiator and a PR person, and she's been handling her own PR clearly for her to assume this position for months and positions herself as a moderate. She can't be too much of a moderate. It's the typical thing we've seen, you and I have seen in transitions in other countries. If she tries to be a moderate,
transitions. They call it transitions. This is not a transition. This was a kidnapping by the US government. They kidnapped the president, and now the interim government, led by Rodriguez, has to scramble. That is the problem. Jesus, this is so fucking stupid. Like, at least lie properly.
And go on bended knee to the Trump team, her own team will stab her in the back. and
She's
then
not
we'll
going
have
to
to
bend
have
a
a
knee to
second
the
wave
Trump
of
team.
attacks
Come
on
on.
Venezuela, or the Trump team will stage a
Like,
second wave,
do
as
you
they
not
discussed
know
last
her
night.
history?
She's
Jesus
not going to
fucking
go on
Christ,
bended
what
knee.
fucking idiots.
Venezuela, they will not make Venezuela a colony, and I think that this is going to be some very complicated days. Venezuelans cannot go out into the street to celebrate because A, they're confused, they don't know what comes next, and B, anybody who says, yay, they got Maduro, will be immediately captured and tortured.
Vanessa, so good to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll stay in touch, and hopefully there's some good news from Venezuela for Venezuelan Venezuelans. Thank you. Thanks, Vanessa.
So that was so much lies in so many words. Let's check if capturing Venezuela was legal or not. Again, it was not. We are just covering at this point, like, okay, the left and the right doesn't exist in America. I am sorry, like it doesn't. American foreign policy has been the same under Biden, under Obama, under Trump, under Bush, or whoever the fuck.
What is the likelihood that they will actually hold up in court? Maduro, who has been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, conspiring to import cocaine, and possessing and conspiring to possess machine guns and destructive devices, is expected in court.
He's charged with possessing those in America. Was the Chinese joke?
Soon as tomorrow. Let's bring in CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, a former prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. Ellie, thanks for being here this morning. So is it legal? Was this legal? That's the question that so many people have right now about the way that this was carried out, the way that they arrested Maduro and his wife, brought him to the United States. Was this a legal operation?
Well, Manu, as we sit here on Sunday, January 4th, there's no way that I nor anyone else can give you a definitive answer to that question. That's part of what makes this case so remarkable, so unusual. But the good news is we will find out, because I assure you that once Maduro gets lawyers, one of the first things they will do is challenge his arrest. They will argue that the manner of his extraction from Venezuela violated international law. They will argue that he has something called sovereign immunity, meaning he can't be criminally.
Okay, so no, I'm just going to look at the chat quickly, because it's like, oh, the joke is that Americans say China has no government change. Chinese say China has no government change, but policy changes. But in America, government changes, but policy remains the same. It is the sad truth. Like, the immigration shit, Kamala was going to do it as well. She was going around with Cheney talking about how we need to make immigrants' life worse as well. Like, why would anyone vote for the Democrats after that anyway? Gaza policy has been the same under Biden and Trump, though Trump is far more open about his ambitions. Like, healthcare. Like, just Schumer, for example, they just gave up like 5 seconds after they were actually opposing, because the call came from above. See, Democrats and Republicans are controlled by their donors. Their donors are capitalist companies. So people on the ground don't get shit. They just get propaganda. At least in China, for example, the government is communist, though outwardly they are capitalist. The government being communist means at least the idea behind their whole working is for the people. So people get a lot more.
Charged for his actions as the leader of another country. We will get rulings on those issues from the court. I suspect that these charges will hold up, and here's why. There is a long-standing, first of all, opinion out of the Justice Department. It dates back to 1989. It actually was authored by Bill Barr, who would go on to become the Attorney General twice. But that opinion basically says, even if an arrest violates some of the principles or tenets of international law, it doesn't mean that the case gets dismissed. It doesn't mean the case cannot be tried in the United States. And looking at this purely from a practical point of view, Manu, and I know this judge who has the case, Judge Hellerstein, I appeared in front of him many different times. I just don't see a federal United States District Court judge saying, this arrest was improper, case dismissed, Nicolas Maduro, you are allowed to go free. Just looking.
They're basically saying that the US judges do not give a shit about their own laws. That's what they're saying. Like, at the end of the day, if the case is not dismissed immediately, because again, Maduro did not commit any of these crimes in the Southern District of New York. If even if he's guilty of whatever they're asking him to be guilty of, he committed them in Venezuela. And last time I checked, the US judicial system does not have any reach within Venezuela. The laws really don't work. Like, the hands of justice are not that far reaching that someone can be convicted of a crime committed in Venezuela in the United States of America. That bilateral agreement does not exist.
Looking at it from a purely practical standpoint.
Senator Mike Lee said the action likely falls within the president's inherent authority under Article 2 of the Constitution to protect U.S. personnel from an actual or imminent attack. Does that hold water?
Well, so that's precisely what underpins that 1989 DOJ memo that I talked about, that basically says this is not an area for the courts to intervene in. The decision about how to handle foreign affairs, diplomacy, military actions sits with the executive branch, sits with the Article 2 president, and it's really not something for the judiciary to interfere with. I do think that will fundamentally drive the decision in this case.
So the vice president, J.D. Vance, pushed back against those calling it illegal, saying he had multiple indictments. Maduro had multiple indictments. And Vance went on to say, quote, "You don't get to avoid justice for drug trafficking in the United States because you live in a palace in Caracas." Are there broader implications?
That is literally what it means. I mean, seriously, I'm not saying that drug smugglers shouldn't be arrested, but he needs to be tried in Caracas if that is the situation. That is how law works. And the second point of this is, yeah, the drug smuggling thing was a lie.
Ellie, for that argument if the courts allow this to go forward?
Yeah, I think there are. I think that's a bit oversimplified from the vice president. I mean, if it was as simple as if the leader of a foreign nation commits some act that happens to violate U.S. law, we can go pick that person off and take them out of the palace and bring them into the United States. I'm not saying we should never do that, but I don't think it's quite as straightforward as you commit a crime against us, we can take you out whenever we want. We can bring you here for criminal prosecution. I think there's a complex set of legal and political and constitutional factors here. But I think the charges against Maduro, if you look at them, it's more than just drug trafficking. It's a 20-plus year stretch of narco-terrorism. I think a lot of the answers to these questions that you're raising, Manu, really have to come from the political branch and have to come from Congress more than from the courts. Remember, when this case is being tried in the Southern District of New York, the questions are really quite narrow. I think the judge is likely to uphold this case, and ultimately, Manu, it'll be handled as any other criminal trial. It'll ultimately go to a jury of 12 Manhattanites, 12 New Yorkers, and they will decide Nicolas Maduro's fate.
Ellie, is this case a strong one against Maduro, or do you think there are holes when you look at the indictment?
So I've read the indictment carefully. It appears to be strong. The conduct itself is overwhelming. I mean, we are talking about a 2 decades plus long system that would basically use the government of Venezuela to unite all these different narco-terrorist groups, the FARC and others. And Maduro allegedly sent 250 plus tons of cocaine into the United States each and every year. He engaged in money laundering. He used diplomatic passports to get safe passage for drug traffickers.
Everything that they're saying is alleged. It is not
the question really in any case like this, Manu, where you have a hierarchical organization, is can you get that evidence on the top guy? Because typically the top guy, whether it's the president of a country or the leader of a terrorist group, they're insulated. They have other people do their dirty work for them. They limit who they talk to and what they say. So that's going to be the challenge for prosecutors here.
And very quickly, how long do you think this will take to play out, and how much prison time could Maduro be facing?
So he's looking at a minimum of 30 years in prison, a max of life.
He's not looking for even 5 minutes. If this was an actual shit, if this was actually legally processed, he's not facing even 5 minutes in prison.
To reach trial, we're going to have some complicated pre-trial motions, as you and I discussed. So I think a trial is likely maybe at the earliest late 2026, more likely sometime in 2027.
Oh boy, yeah, I guess we'll be talking about this for a while. Ellie Hoing, thanks so much absolutely. Thanks for being with us this morning. Really appreciate it. My panel is back with me.
A little bit of updates on a few things. Spain is the only country that has said it will not recognize the invasion of US intervention in Venezuela. Spain continues to be a beacon of actually good shit, which is surprising. I did not believe Spain would ever say that, but fine. January 3rd, Spain will not recognize US intervention in Venezuela that violates international law, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said on Thursday after US forces captured long-serving Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in an overnight operation. This should be kidnapped, but fine, Reuters is Reuters. Spain did not recognize Spain did not recognize Maduro's, but neither will it recognize the intervention that violates international law, pushes the region towards a horizon of uncertainty and belligerence. Sanchez wrote on X after US President Donald Trump announced the US would run the South American country until a safe transition was completed. We covered this yesterday, where we saw that US wants to run Venezuela like it tried to run Iraq. See how that ended up? Sanchez was also on all parties to think that civilian population to respect the United Nations Charter and to articulate a fair and dialogue transition. There's not going to be a transition with Machado. You know why? You know why? Let me get this straight. There's not going to be a transition with Machado because Machado herself is extremely unpopular. Trump himself has said that Machado does not have the support. You can argue that she did not have the support even in 2018, 2019 when the elections were supposed to be rigged. Only 10% of the population actually supports Machado. Juan Guaido, again, was her stand-in during the elections. They lost. And US claimed that the elections were rigged. But that was also a claim that was not proven. The other thing that we need to talk about is what is US going to do further. This is JD Vance talking about Mexico. So JD Vance tweeted around 2 hours ago on the topic that he wanted to debunk some claims. You see a lot of claims that Venezuela has nothing to do with drugs because most of the fentanyl comes from elsewhere, which is true. It has nothing to do with drugs. I want to address this. Fine. Go off, King. Go off. First off, fentanyl isn't the only drug in the world, and there is still fentanyl coming from Venezuela, or at least there was. Okay. So like 0.1%, 0.01%, did it really make sense to invade a whole ass country for that? Like improve your border security. Second, cocaine, which is the main drug trafficked out of Venezuela, is a profit center for all of the Latin American cartels. If you cut out the money from cocaine has been a drug that the CIA has used it multiple times to destabilize countries. You can see it in Afghanistan. You can see it like in Middle East. Whenever US has taken over a single country, the production of cocaine has always increased. Why do we believe that this is any different? You might actually see a higher production of cocaine in Venezuela, and they're bringing it into the US now. And yes, third, a lot of fentanyl coming out from Mexico. That continues to be a focus of the policy in Mexico, and a reason Trump shut the border on day one. Shut the border? Nah. The thing is, like, people are asking, like, oh, will Trump invade Mexico? He's not gonna. He kind of like Sheinbaum, to be honest with you. And the other point is that when it comes to Trump, like, there is big invasion of Venezuela is on the books for US foreign policy. Invasion of Mexico hurts everyone, especially the US. And just going to say cartels. Like, US companies operate as cartels. They have their own military as well. So, like, if goes against US cartels. Fourth, I see a lot of criticism about oil. Oil has been the center focus. Like, Trump keeps talking about oil. Venezuela, I mean, I don't want to go into it, but I think he saw what Diddy was doing, and that's why he wants the oil, but he's getting confused on what kind of oil it was. Venezuela expropriated American oil property, which is not true. Venezuela nationalized their own oil reserves on their own land within their own internationally recognized borders. America has nothing to do anything with it. And until recently used that stolen property, which is not stolen property to begin with, to get rich and fund their narco-terrorist activities, which is also not true. I understand the anxiety over use of military force. You should be anxious. You should be protesting if you're American, and you are there right now in the middle of all of this and in the center of the empire. But are we just supposed to allow a communist to steal our stuff in our hemisphere? Okay, not your stuff. Technically a socialist as well. And again, let me be clear, not your stuff. Your stuff is within the borders of America. This is not your stuff. Great powers don't act like that. Oh, please. That's not a great power. That's a colonial power. The United States, thanks to President Trump's leader, is a great power again. Okay, fine. Like, talk about how many people die because they have to choose between insulin and food they want to eat. Everyone take note. Whatever. Okay. So we are putting cocaine back in Coca-Cola. Yeah, they are. That is exactly what I'm doing. Jesus, this is so fucking stupid. Like, whenever like Vance comes in, quite literally, he is the caricature that like, goddamn, what's the word? Like South Park has. He is that. That is what I imagine whenever he's speaking. Trump. And you know what is the funniest part? That America is doing this for Israel. They are not even doing it for America for most parts. Like,
the implications here are.
Well, if you have oil and no nukes, it isn't your oil. It's Uncle Sam's oil. Yeah. If you have oil and no nukes, it is not your oil. Exactly. US right now, okay. I saw a post earlier, and I mean, it is true. US has, by invading Venezuela, US has invaded every single country with oil. As it stands, every single country in this world which has oil has been invaded by the US. The only reason why they haven't invaded is because the country was always subservient to America to begin with.
Really great for the Israel, the Venezuelan people. The implications here are really great for the Israel.
Yeah, it is great for the Israeli people. We covered it yesterday. Israel wants to attack and colonize parts of Iran, Iraq, whatever. Iran and Russia primarily do their business with Venezuela being sanctioned by America, and because Venezuela can't do business with anyone else. They just love the oil, man. Doesn't matter if it's baby oil. Exactly. That's what we were just saying. Exactly. They just fucking love their oil. Like, the pedophile cult like really loves their fucking oil. Amen to you. So, as I was saying, Israel is trying to go. So Israel wants to take over parts of Iran. Iran does a lot of its trade with Venezuela. So this is extremely good for Israel. Israel even threatened Iran, like right after this happened. We saw it yesterday. I'm not going to look for the article again. Oh, hey Gaurav, how are you doing? Got on Twitch for your game stream. That we're gonna. Yeah, we are going to do that as well. It's that as well, so don't worry about it. This is just we need to cover some shit, so we are covering some shit. Do subscribe and share the stream, please. It would be nice if you could. Don't just repost like individual, like post it with people, please. People you know, people who you think would be interested, and just anyone. Like, send it to your mom. Tell her, like, Neil is streaming, come up. Mums actually do like me a lot. Not even joking. Mums like me. Yeah, so a claim that has been made continuously that the Venezuelan... Okay, let's just watch this first.
Captured and extracted.
John Bolton says that this is only the beginning of much longer process for Venezuela and the entire regime. Okay, let's just watch this.
I wished we'd been able to do that in
John Bolton is a dickhead.
2018. 2019, when the opposition tried to overthrow Maduro, we have significant American national security interests at stake. However, this is maybe step one of a much longer process. Maduro's gone. The regime is still in place. According, again, to limited information, Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, Vladimir Padrino, the defense minister, Jorge Rodriguez, the president of the National Assembly, are still in place. And it's interesting, we'll know more when Trump speaks at 11, but the president's rationale is a law enforcement rationale. There is the warrant for Maduro's arrest. The operation is said to have been carried out largely by law enforcement personnel with protective support from the military. As you just noted, Hegseth and Rubio had briefed Congress that regime change.
Wait, I didn't hear that properly.
I wished we'd been able to do that in 2018. 2019, when the opposition tried to overthrow Maduro, we have significant American national security interests at stake. However, this is maybe step one of a much longer process. Maduro's gone. The regime is still in place. According, again, to limited information, Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, Vladimir Padrino, the defense minister, Jorge Rodriguez, the president of the National Assembly, are still in place.
See, they want to take out everyone, obviously. This is for oil.
Interesting. We'll know more when.
If Maduro had just given away all of the oil that is keeping the country afloat, they would be very happy. Maduro would have been championed as the liberator of Venezuela. CIA would have backed down and stopped causing issues within the country.
Trump speaks at 11, but the president's rationale is a law enforcement rationale. There is the warrant for Maduro's arrest. The operation is said to have been carried out largely by law enforcement personnel with protective support from the military. As you just noted, Hegseth and Rubio had briefed Congress that regime change was not the answer. So I'm not sure how much more there is to celebrate. I'm glad Maduro is gone. But if the regime remains, the threat to America remains, and the harm done to the Venezuelan people remains.
Please, the only harm the Venezuelan people are facing is from goddamn Israel and US right now. We covered this before. We have covered this multiple times before. The US has been a normalized threat to literally every single country that does not align with it. And even countries that do align with it. For example, I'm getting so good at these cutaways, man. I fucking love this.
Greenland for national.
Literally wants to take over Greenland.
We need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world.
Because they invaded Venezuela.
We need Greenland for national security.
There is an increased presence of Danish military in Greenland anticipating, I'm not even joking, anticipating US to invade.
And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships.
There are none.
All over the place. We need Greenland for national security. Not for...
Come on, this has to be a fucking joke, right? Trump is a fucking madman. He wants to go back to the colonial past. Obviously, he loves fucking Hitler. This is what Hitler did in the first place. Hitler did invade other countries around them. This is exactly what they're doing. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, the other thing is that this just came in. This was like an hour ago, I guess. So I think we are just covering it right now for talking reasons. Nepal actually has gone anti-Indian stance after a very long time. After Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, now Nepal backs a one China policy. One China policy dictates that parts of Arunachal Pradesh, Gilgit are going to be part of Pakistan. That is what they say. Taiwan as well, but that's a whole other issue. Let's just see.
All right, we have some breaking news coming in for you at this point of time. Now, after Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal has now backed one China.
Where is that chatter from yesterday, Jesus Christ, that was talking about India ki ijjat badi hai in whole of country, whole of world. He wants Greenland because even the land is wet. Lol. Yeah, where is that fucking like Tyler Durden? Like seriously, where are you, bitch?
Policy, Nepal has issued a statement reaffirming one China stance. Another South Asian nation, that's Nepal, has now endorsed the one China policy. And with that, Nepal joins Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh on one China policy. Remember, one China policy treats Taiwan as a part of China. And the latest coming in is that after Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal has now advocated and endorsed for the one China policy.
Like, you have to understand, okay? Now, like, you have to understand this. India is fucking fucked. We are so fucked in the B. And this is not even with lube at this point. This is known as complete isolation from your neighbors. Complete isolation. Now, I don't think there is, Bhutan left without an official military that can, help India keep its region safe. Like, what are we on? Who are we joking? We have, I said this 6 months ago, and I said this a year ago. If shit like this continues, we are going to have to give away Arunachal Pradesh to China. And Modi is going to come up and say, oh, sab changa si. How are we supposed to defend our own territory? Forget, like, I always have this point, like, oh, we have to talk about the people. We have to push for the goodness of the people. We have to talk about, oh, how we can make the lives of the people better. Tell me one thing. How are we supposed to do any of this? How are we supposed to do any of this if there is no support? And even if we forget all of this, how are we supposed to even keep the land? Like, okay, you don't give a shit about the people, you take them out. How are you supposed to protect the land from China under the one China policy? And the funny thing is, as the government is currently going and how people are being treated within the government, I think Arunachal Pradesh going to China is good for the people of China. Sorry, people of Arunachal Pradesh. I think I'll move to Arunachal Pradesh right now. That's the only shot I have to get citizenship of a developed country. I'm pretty sure you have to be born there. Sorry, man, you don't even have that shot. I'm sorry, you weren't born in AP. Like the lady, earlier the lady was harassed and they laughed at her saying like, oh, you have to take a Chinese citizenship after this. And I was thinking during that live and being like, yeah, I mean, the lady should have just taken Chinese citizenship at that point. It is better. Yeah, dude, you go shoot your shot. You go shoot your shot. Go to AP, go live there. When China comes in, it's given away to, like India gives Arunachal Pradesh to China, you can make your case. Go shoot your shot. I'll come with you. We can be Indian Chinese. We can give our affiliation to G. This is next level stupid. Like, how the fuck do you let something like this go on? Like, how stupid and how feckless does the Indian government have to be? How incompetent is the external ministry of India that your own fucking neighbor, you share the longest border with Nepal than any other of Nepal's neighbor, which is again China, and you let this happen? Nepal historically was neutral, if I'm not wrong. You create Bangladesh. You create Bangladesh by breaking away Pakistan, and then you shit on Bangladesh for the rest of how much ever. And then Bangladesh is now against you. Now Nepal focuses on one China policy. How the fuck do you let this happen as the external ministry? Like, we shit on CIA to being like, hey, you are interfering in other countries, yada, yada, yada. They're doing it outside the land borders and everything, and not for their country, but for oil interests. Yeah, but India has land issues. India is going to get invaded by China, or at least dominated economically, or invaded that way. And we are so fucking shit. But the people of Venezuela are celebrating that Maduro is gone. They are not. And the ones not in Venezuela, they are not. They are celebrating all the expats in the US. And I'm going to say this, as I said before, if you are an expat from within the US from Venezuela, you're celebrating this, fine. Do you not remember what happened with fucking Iraq? Iraqis welcomed the US intervention with open arms. And where is Iraq right now? It's been looted. Looted is a very nice word to use. The R word I don't want to use. Like, the entire country is basically run by ExxonMobil and like Shell and the conglomerate of oil companies. You really, like, do Venezuelans really think it's a good thing that US intervention was a good thing? Why do you think US ever invades any fucking country? Be serious. Like, seriously, be serious on this topic. Like, I don't know what's gotten into fucking Venezuelans. It's just so fucking stupid, man. It's just so fucking stupid. Yeah, fine. They are propagandists. They don't understand the issues with US takeover. I don't really blame them. Like, Americans don't understand American propaganda. I'm not going to blame an immigrant. Like, for the past, like the past year or so since Trump took over, they have been systematically oppressed, systematically segregated. Their court hearings, like, ICE literally waits outside of courts right before court hearings so they can capture people over there and put them in the El Salvadorian prison. That literally is happening right now. And you would say, oh, then they should not go to court. Then ICE has an official reason to kick you out. So they are doing it illegally by capturing them without letting them go in for their court hearing. And if they don't show up, they're illegals now. So they have more reason to get them deported. Like, Venezuelan people need to be fucking serious, especially if they are in America. They have been called looters, murderers, druggists. They have been called child rapists. Like, all of these are self-reflections of Trump. But again, they have been called so many fucking different things at this point. Like, Venezuelan people need to be serious. No one in Venezuela itself is celebrating. We have multiple videos coming out saying that, hey, Venezuelan people are actually revolting against all of this. Why would you? It's a fucking propaganda, man. This is way too much. Like, it doesn't matter if US invaded India and dethroned Modi. Some of us are really going to celebrate. Hell, even I'll enjoy the happiness before it gets worse. They have been suffering from years. I don't blame them celebrating arrest of a man who ruined their lives. But then, see, if that is the situation that they're but they are not celebrating, especially in Venezuela. And if Modi gets arrested tomorrow, say, and you have US saying we are going to take control of India and everything and just take over the entire land, you know what is going to happen at the end of the day? The people are going to get fucked. This is not how you do regime change. This is not, like, you can't just come up and kidnap. It doesn't matter. I mean, if US invaded India and dethroned... Hold on, there's some issue. Check the main screen. Did you write the same thing? Bliss, did you write the same thing? I don't, because I got like 2 different messages on this. Well, some of these countries do have a large amount of those types. And speaking of the R word, let's talk about how extremely bad that is. In India, it is not even safe for women to go out to India for a holiday. Exactly. Yes. I agree with you. Oh, you replied. Okay. And it just made it like really, really weird for me. Like, because I'm using like Stream Social and shit. So only elites hate Maduro, not common folk. Exactly. Only elites hate Maduro. See, I agree with you. India is going fucking shit when it comes to like women's safety and all of those types. The issue there is it's not going to improve. Do you think Modi is the only reason why India has these issues with women's safety? No, it's a cultural thing. That is what everyone is fighting against. Yes, I agree. We did a live on this, that Modi uses misogyny as a way to control the population, as a way to control people. Oppression starts at home. That's what he pushes for. But that propaganda is still going on. That propaganda is not going to be stopped just because Modi is taken out. It needs a broader awareness to be possible around the world. What's this? What is this? Cheap viewer stream boo, remove this. What? I don't know. Are you an actual person? Bro, what the fuck? Anyway. Yeah, Modi is just the literal face of this. You can take out Modi, like, you can take out Modi tomorrow and it's not going to change anything. The right-wing system is going to keep going and going and going. Like, you can't just remove Modi and expect things to get better. It's going to get worse. India is going to be partitioned even more after that. Do you think an external force is going to be able to keep India together after the Prime Minister of India has been kidnapped by the US? How do you think they are going to treat the people of Indian origin in the US after that, especially? This is the exact same thing that happened with Iraq. If you want to make things better for Indian women in India and Indian people as a whole as well, then we need to talk about how to get rid of this religious fever that India has been forced upon. We need to directly combat proper right-wing propaganda in India by Indians. And people from other places, like other countries, can't just invade because, again, they are not invading for anyone. International policy is not empathetic to the plight of the people of any country they are invading. International policy quite literally works for the benefit of the country that is using that policy. You cannot have a random country come in and do it, because again, if America invades India tomorrow, it is going to rip apart India for its resources. What happened with the British is going to happen again, because it is exactly what is happening with Venezuela right now. This is colonization. This is not them coming in to save the country. This is like, compare it to when the British said that we are taking control of India because India is very barbaric and we are going to make it civilized. That is what the argument is for Venezuelans right now. Like, America needs to take over Venezuela because the US president is saving them from barbarism, from communism and whatever. That is the problem. Genghis, I hope I'm clear about that point. Like, you kind of just stop texting. So anyway, yeah. Again, my this shit got fucked again. Fuck. Yeah. Better, I guess. So this is still happening. Like people on the ground do like Maduro a lot more. Like, plus, like 80% of the population have been given a lot of weapons. America cannot control. Oh, I was explaining the same to an Aussie friend. Send him the stream. Like, people in Venezuela do not hate Maduro as people in America are made to think. This is this literal same thing that happened with Gaddafi as well. Like, Gaddafi was shown as like this oppressor of the people, an oppressor of its community, a hateful terrorist around the world. The main point that Gaddafi wanted to do was unite Africa in the same way as Europe itself has united within the European Union. He wanted like an African Union. That's why he was killed. Because it would have been bad for French hegemony around Africa and UK and all of them. They couldn't like rip Africa apart as they did since Gaddafi had died. That's why the French are like, even with Venezuela, the French are in support of this. Where is the fucking link? I forgot to grab that link. Thank God it came up. France and support. Where is this fucking thing? Jesus, sorry for the crack. Here's a straightforward question. Why is it... Hold on. Here's a straightforward question. Why is it hell are there so many scam call centers in India, and why hasn't the government done anything? Because the scam call centers directly pay the government. The government is directly paid by these institutions. Like through donations. Like imagine who is running these scam calls. Just check back who is doing this. Who is paying for them, who pays, you'll find it, everything is paid to the, what's the word for it? The BJP coffers. And also the Congress, to be honest. It is not a bipartisan thing. India really does not have a decent party going on right now, at least on the national level, that is opposed to taking bribes. Everyone fucking takes bribes. The people need to get the fuck up. Because just talking about scam call centers, these people who work in scam call centers are working not because they want to. They are kidnapped, their passports are taken away, and they are made to work. And if they don't, they are basically harassed, beaten up, and whatnots. It's a fucking issue. It's like a really bad issue. Yeah. Macron is a fucking dickhead, let me just tell you. Yeah, exactly. Plus, everyone gets paid up from the constable, and that's why they are still valid. The only people that suffer are the people who are doing the scam calls, because if they don't perform, they are like not given food, not given money, not given literally anything. And again, they are trapped there. They're basically new generation slave. It's slavery. Yeah, Venezuelan. This is Emmanuel fucking Macron. Like, he's the president. He should like fucking top. Like, French, what the fuck are you doing with him still in power? The Venezuelan people are today rid of Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship and can only rejoice. Fuck off. They are not. Imagine someone invading France and taking away Macron. Like, how would he react? Like, is he going to react the same way? No, fucking no. This is not a good thing. Like, you can't just grab someone, especially the president. Like, not like you can't just kidnap someone directly on ground. It's completely fucking illegal. By seizing power and trampling of fundamental, Nicolas Maduro gravely undermine the dignity of its own people. Are you sure? The upcoming transition must be peaceful, democratic, and respectful of the will of the Venezuelan people. Want Maduro back, by the way. So if you don't give him back, it's not the will of the people. We wish that Edmundo Urrutia, elected in 2014, he was not, can swiftly ensure this transition. The thing with is that Trump has claimed that Edmundo Urrutia does not, and his party does not have the popular mandate, which Trump himself said, which means they did not win. I'm currently exchanging with partners in the region. France is fully mobilized and vigilant, including to ensure the safety of its nationals during these uncertain times. Now, okay, to mention, France is sure about saving the people. And the funny part, which is not so funny, but whatever. This I literally read. Like, all of the information is coming right now. Everything is so fucking fresh. Where is this? The MEA, the Ministry of External Affairs, released a notice for Indians in Venezuela. Where is it? Shit. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? There. Yeah. Is showing of PTI, is it valid, or are they going to be an ass about it? Let's check. By the way, if you're here, if you're new, you should please follow back, like the stream, follow back. We are also live on YouTube. Yeah. MEA spokesperson Randir Jaiswal post, recent developments in Venezuela are a matter of deep concern. We are closely monitoring the evolving situation. India affirms its support to the well-being and safety of its people, of the people of Venezuela. We call upon all the concerned to address the issue peacefully and through dialogue, ensuring peace and stability in the region. The Embassy of India in Caracas is in contact with the members of the Indian community to continue to provide all possible assistance. Yeah, I think because you just created your account. Plus, you don't really have a name. This is bullshit. You know why? Because they said the same thing when it came to Ukraine. And when it came to Ukraine, they did not provide any assistance whatsoever. Any assistance whatsoever was not provided. Ah, okay. It's an old account. I've never used it. Okay. I don't know. Ask Bliss. She knows more than me about this. Like, when it came to Ukraine, what happened was they were like, oh, you walk to the nearest border and from there we'll pick you up. That was their entire position. They asked them to fucking walk. Like, tomorrow, if Venezuela attacks US attacks Venezuela more, they are going to say the same thing. You guys walk. Tum chalte chalte aana wherever you are, through the Amazon, through the whatever, they don't give a shit. Because that is what happened with Ukraine as well. Like the whole peace person, Papa shit, Papa ne bacha liya, Papa ne war rukwa liya was all bullshit. We all know that. Anyway, we have a few more news to cover. If there is nothing more on this, and I hope there is not, because I want to go forward with the fucking stream. This news keeps dropping in. We'll cover it as it goes. Is there anything new? Reuters, Swissguard, whatever. No, not that I can check. Not that I can find. US is being a fucking cringy ass bitch. As usual, though. I mean, it is not really far from what they have been doing as before. Anyway, so moving on. We're moving on to India. Vishwaguru should arm twist Trump and get Maduro back and show the world we are true superpower. Exactly. Open challenge to Vishwaguru. He should stop the conflict. He should be the peace president. He should be the peace prime minister. He should get the next World Peace Prize for stopping the Venezuela-US war. And then you can claim it, because America has gone against India and said that America and China have stopped the India-Pakistan war and OP Sindoor. So now Modi ji should show him the Lal Aakh and stop the war between Venezuela and the US. You can do it, Modi ji. I believe in you. Fucking hell. Like, what the fuck is wrong with the whole ass propaganda, man? Like, यहाँ पे हमारा पानी भी नहीं मिल रहा है ठीक से. So the next thing we are actually covering is the water crisis that recently happened. There was a water leak that killed a bunch of people, killed children. That's again Yes, Tyler, I know there is a kidnapping. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree with you. Like, yeah, man, you weren't there like 5 minutes ago. Fine, whatever. Papa Modi ji ne Maduro ko wapis laya will be nice. AD. Like, Papa is not gonna go against like whatever US says. He's like Katputli anyway. So like Modi is a Katputli of Adani Ambani. Adani Ambani are Katputli of US interest because for trade. And so they are not gonna do shit. Like India has no backbone anymore. I am sorry. For anyone who thinks India does not. India crisis in negligence. We are covering this now because this is something that needs to be covered. It's a systematic disaster. I think Arnab Goswami also covered it. But we don't trust Arnab Goswami.
At least 10 people. So Indore is in the middle of a deadly drinking water crisis that has killed at least 10 people, according to the mayor of the city. It was an outbreak of diarrhea caused by contaminated water that was piped into people's homes. Local residents say the
India is economic colony of West. It wasn't. It has become. It is becoming. It is not. It wasn't before. That is what all I'll say. Like, Indira Gandhi wouldn't have gone to US and made fun of Nixon on its face if it was a colony. We would have treated them like Zelensky treats Trump right now, like with utmost like wawahi, even if like Trump shits on Zelensky every single time they are there. He screams at him, he barks at him, he cards this, cards that. Makes fun of him online. JD Vance says, oh, is this what you wear? Have you ever said thank you? And whatever the fuck not. India is treated like this right now. India, and Indira Gandhi, during the time of Indira Gandhi, we would never have been treated like that. Indira Gandhi, for people who do not know, was in a meeting with Nixon. She literally like showed him Nixon his place. अरे इकोनॉमिक कॉलोनी होने के लिए पैसा भी तो होना चाहिए. भूखे नंगे लोग क्या कॉलोनी. They don't care. Like the US colony is like US will operate within India to oppose its like for its interests in Asia. That is what it means. They don't care for the people. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't give a shit about the people. Yeah, like Trump's treatment towards Zelensky is extremely rough. This is a dog joke. What? I don't understand. Anyway. Yeah, so like, see, they don't care about the people. We're talking about this like earlier. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, Modi doesn't give a shit about either of you anyway. Like, no, he doesn't give a shit. He just gives a shit about Adani and Ambani and how much money they can make. That, let's be clear. This is like, you are not forefront in the caring of Modi and his administration. That's why if you were Adani, Ambani wouldn't have gotten the tax cuts that they do while everyone is suffering with AQI. Yeah, fine. I got it now. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I got it now. I'm more used to like the rough was like ROUF. Anyway, so like Modi would have done so many things differently than it has. Like AQI issue, where the fuck is Modi? Not one word. Then there is uranium in the water in Delhi, not one word. Yeah, Modi can suck it. Yeah, exactly. But like, abhi, commentary we have to do, no? Like, there's going to be people here that like who are going to watch this later, because again, we are online on YouTube as well. Like, we are online on YouTube as well. Go sub right now, here and there, both sides, please. Thank you. And do share the link wherever you want, and please everywhere. We need to grow. There is also a Discord. I don't know if people can see the Discord link, because this is the first time I'm using like stream. What was the name of this thing? The Stream Ninja, sorry, Social Stream Ninja. So I don't know if you can see the Discord link. Normally we are only streaming on YouTube. So the Discord link, I know exactly what to do, but I'm just new to this. So you can go into Discord if you like to chat with people as well. Perfect. Link is working. Nice. Very good. Anyway, so the point is, like, Modi can suck. Modi can suck as he's a fucking dalla anyway for Adani and Ambani. But the point is that if we just stop at, oh, he's a dalla or he can suck it, like, a lot of people who need the commentary don't get the commentary, and their idea keeps going farther and farther away from the truth, and they start believing in the propaganda. That's why all of this talking is actually important. That's why, like, if you have someone who needs this talking, send this to them, send this to everyone, share it on Instagram, share it on Twitter or wherever you have an account. And thank you very much. Seriously. We need to grow. We are an entire community behind the scenes. You can join it as well. It is perfectly free, and it is also a safe space. If you like click on the link, you will notice that there's a bunch of questions. We are an LGBTQ free community. We do not discriminate. We do not harass. Any of this sort of actions are gonna get direct bans without appeal. Anyway, the point of it is, they don't like. Modi works for Adani and Ambani. None of the policies that have been come are for the people. Like for farmers' law, for example, the farmers' law is not for the people. Even their whole idea behind making. Hold on, I'm just going to do this. Yeah, even the whole idea behind making sure that voting is not a good thing in India anymore, like vote chori and everything, is to make sure that irrespective of what the people want, Modi can come in power, even with the least amount of people supporting him, which means he can move further with the agenda that no one can oppose him, and so he can just directly work for Adani, Ambani and corporate interests. That's the end goal of any capitalist country at the end of the day. It becomes an oligarchy, like how America is an oligarchy. Like no matter who you vote for, like Democrats, you can vote for Republicans, it doesn't matter. In India, it's a bit more complicated because India is huge. So they are trying to make the whole process of a voting system completely useless. That is the issue. Or like, think about this. If corporate interests weren't the problem, Modi government would not be changing the way AQI is calculated. AQI is something that you can see. Like at this point, the bad AQI is something you can see by your own eyes. You don't even need like a calculation equipment for it, or a measurement equipment. You don't need it. You can just see it. But they are trying to sweep everything under the rug. People are dying left, right, and center. There are huge problems with medication. There are no regulations whatsoever. Rapists are getting let out. Because, again, we covered this earlier. If you want, we can cover this again someday. You can also go back and watch the earlier streams. They are saved on YouTube. Rape is used as an oppression tactic for fascist regimes from before. Like it is used as Nazis use it, even Trump uses it. Like that's why, like, the reason why so many rapists are let out is to be like, hey, if you are someone who's with us, you can freely oppress the women in your life. We will support you no matter what. That is the message they're trying to send with Singh, with Brij Bhushan, with every single rapist within their coffers. Anyway, we are going to this thing now. So these are preventable deaths that could have been prevented by literally regulation. They have removed regulation in every single aspect of Indian life. Regulations are good for the sake because regulations help protect lives.
Actual number of people dead is much higher than this, but the health department has not actually confirmed that final number. We have a number of 10 people, but I want you to pause here for a second and consider the fact that we're talking about Indore here. It's the financial or the commercial capital of Madhya Pradesh. It's also been ranked India's cleanest city for 8 straight years. I repeat that, India's cleanest city, where people are dying because the water that was piped into their kitchens was actually contaminated. And I want you to understand the facts of what happened, right? So right now, in the last 9 days, more than 1,400 people in Indore have become violently critically ill. in a place called Bhagirathapura, which is they've had vomiting and diarrhea. 272 people are hospitalized, 71 have been discharged, 201 patients are admitted, and 32 are in the ICU. These are not small numbers. This is not a minor outbreak. Now, officials are now testing water from across the neighborhood, and they have established the fact that this is a problem from the drinking water. Apparently, there was a leakage in a municipal water pipeline that allowed sewage to enter the portable drinking water that was supplied to people's homes. Apparently, the most disturbing part about this is the pipeline is obviously underground. There was a toilet that was allowed to be built directly above the pipeline. The toilet was leaking into the pipeline. The pipeline itself.
This is something that is very avoidable by just proper regulation and management. These are extremely avoidable deaths. Extremely avoidable deaths.
Was damaged, and so that sewage was going into the water. The leak was reportedly found on the toilet that was constructed over the pipeline. I mean, this is not a freak accident. This is not an act of God. We should stop blaming God. This is an infrastructure failure and administrative negligence. So this is the timeline of what happened. Mid-December, people started noticing that the tap water apparently was discolored and it smelled bad, and they made complaints to the municipal authorities, who did nothing. The water continued to be supplied. Residents then said it tasted metallic and bitter, and there was a strong odor. Many continued to use it. They apparently boiled it before they used it. But, I mean, what choice did they have? People began falling sick around the 27th of December. Vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration. Clinics started seeing more and more people. Hospitals saw a surge in admission by the 29th. The mayor began to confirm the deaths. Surveys were now begun, but the damage at this point was already done. By the 31st of December, there's confusion about the number of people dead, but there's no confusion about why they have died. Apparently, there's a 6-month-old baby who died because the
Hold on. What to say? Few months ago, there was news people were drinking drainage water because it was leaking from an adult, thinking it was prasad. Yeah, I know. I mean, that is religious stupidity. That is something very different, I would argue. This is people dying because of misregulation. Like religion ke liye, they are drinking cow piss and eating shit as well. I don't really care. Let them do it. They are in issue. Here, like literal innocent people are dying.
The water that was used to make the formula was contaminated. After this, I mean, the government is making its usual moves and doing its usual things. Officials have been transferred and suspended. A sub-engineer has been dismissed. Compensation of 2 lakh rupees for every dead person, because obviously there's a price we can put on a life in India. Now we're being told the pipelines are being examined, and even after.
There is a price we can put on the lives of in India, but it is only after death. Like a live person in India is cheaper than 5 rupees ka Parle Ji.
After cleaning and fixing, apparently the water is still not completely clean. SOPs are being created to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future.
SOPs were already there that this doesn't happen, but they are not followed. That is the problem. The problem isn't that we don't have the laws or the structure to avoid such bullshit. The problem is no one follows it. If someone says like, oh, follow this, they'll just like, oh, bribe de do, we can just move on from there.
This is one case, right? Is it a one-off case? In my opinion, it is not. The value for life, or the value of life in India, is extremely poor, and we lose people for.
Yeah, like okay, I'm gonna main screen this, so if people are watching later, they can see. And the price also has class. Road accidents is 50,000, train is 1 lakh, airplane is 2 crore. Literally, the people who need money don't get it, because the lives of people who fly by airplanes is far higher, apparently, because they are in the higher class of like UC fucking Brahmins. Because like Dalits and SCs and STs and all of the other classes within the casteist and socialistic hierarchy within India do not have the money to travel by fucking an airplane. That's why see ऊपर वाले हैं तो उनके लिए सिर्फ 2 crore. That is what they're saying, like, oh, because you have more money, your life is worth more. Like, I don't understand this fucking country, man. Like, What the fuck is this?
To avoidable deaths constantly in our country. The Madhya Pradesh High Court has now intervened, directed free treatment for everybody in clean water supply. The National Human Rights Commission has taken suo motu cognizance, calling this a violation of human rights. The Chief Minister has affected the families and announced a compensation. We see this pattern all the time. Deaths happen, then there are announcements, there's outrage, then there are suspensions and transfers, media pressure, then there are committees and SOPs that are set up. And then what happens after all of that? Nothing. We go back to living the way we are living. I want to come back to this point of Indore being the cleanest city. Indore topped the Swachh.
No, yeah, the worst is the Poof festival, but at least the people in the Poof festival were there willingly. This is basically making people eat shit and dying out of literally because someone took a bribe somewhere, because bribes are legalized.
Civiksha ratings for 8 straight years, right? So it would get awards from the President of India, there would be photographs, there would be celebrations. But cleanliness means swept up roads. Does cleanliness not include safe water, functional sewage systems, human dignity? So effectively, all of this cleanliness ideas that we currently are celebrating in our country are all optics. They're actually not safety, and they're not really clean. And if we come out of Indore and zoom out to the rest of the country, I just want to put, and this has just taken me like a few minutes to put this together. Avoidable deaths, right? Back of the envelope. 2 lakh people die due to unsafe drinking water in India. 2 lakh people, 200,000 people die every year. 17 lakh people have died because of air pollution. Air pollution affects everybody, rich, poor, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to push back here a little bit. Air pollution doesn't affect the rich as much because they have fucking cars with air purifiers. The poor people don't have cars. They don't have the money for air purifiers. They don't have the money for ACs. Some of them don't even have money for a decent mask.
8 lakh people die in road accidents. Worst numbers in the world are in India. 2,000 people die because of potholes. 40 million people fall sick because of mosquitoes every year in our country. Just in 2025, 114 people have died because of stampedes are completely avoidable. These are not natural disasters. These are governance disasters. We have a governance crisis. And there's a common thread, right? Ordinary, regular citizens suffer first. Children suffer the most. Accountability is completely rare. And it got me thinking as to why this happens in India. Why are avoidable deaths so common?
Because within this capitalistic system, the deaths are much more cheaper than actually fixing the problem. At the end of the day, ends up all being about like the bottom line for corporates. That's why this is there.
Commonplace in India, and why does it happen over and over again and nobody seems to be reacting to any of it? And I just
Propaganda.
want to take a pause here also. We're going about our lives in a brand new year saying, oh, something happened in Indore. But the municipal water gets piped into every one of our homes. And you might think you are safe because you're in some kind of fancy high-rise, but you brush your teeth, no? With that municipal water without putting...
Rich people have a filtration system in their own societies. I don't think some of them even need a filtration system inside their homes.
Through a filter. Imagine if it's mixed with sewage and you're brushing your teeth with that water. Or you're taking a shower and you manage to swallow a mouthful. You wash your dishes with that water without filtering it. You wash your fruit with that water. What if there's sewage in it? It could happen to absolutely anybody, irrespective of where you live. And I was thinking about why this happens, right? And why there is a breakage in the chain of accountability, because every death has a chain of custody as to why this happened. And if there were adequate investigations, they could find out where it started. It normally starts with a file in a government office, a warning that was not read or not acted upon, a system that waited for outrage and not prevention. And people, I mean, irrespective of anything in our country, we always wait until enough people have died before there's any reaction at all. In India, life does not lose value at birth. It loses value inside of government files. It loses value inside of tender documents, inside of complaints that are completely ignored and forgotten. And by the time it reaches any action, it's almost always too late.
Because I will say this again, I'm going to say this 1,000 times. Within India, within the capitalist system that we live in, it is cheaper for people to let people die and face the opposition, which has been curbed at this point, than to actually fix the issues.
Become, and we do this thing where we say that this is bad luck, or these were the crowds, or this was weather, this is fate. But fate doesn't sign contracts, right? Fate doesn't move files. God doesn't come and take a bribe to ignore a complaint. Bad luck doesn't look the other way. This is all down to governance of every city, every state, and the country. Systems and governments are failing us on a daily basis.
There is also one more thing. I was going to bring this up quite later on a different stream, but there is you are not directly represented at all. Your votes are completely pointless in India. We have covered this multiple times, but your votes are completely pointless in India. Never forget that. Your votes are completely pointless because no matter who you vote for, they have to go along what their superiors say. They cannot make up their own fucking mind. They can't change based on what city you live in. This is because of a law that actually Congress brought in, the anti-defection law. The anti-defection law, plus with how MLAs, the selection of MLAs is done within India, makes it impossible for any representative that has been voted into power by you to actually say out loud your views. Right, the people at the control of the public utilities are 0.10% of the population. They decide what money flows in the public infrastructure. It is unimportant for the elites to correct these issues for their own pockets and their own biases. They look at the general population as pests, and they could care less about the working unless they are actively working against this powers. Exactly. This is why I keep saying, I'm going to keep saying, we need to fucking protest. Every time this shit happens, not to be reactionary, but to be proactive and talk about his issues first and foremost. That is the underlying thesis even of this channel. That's why the fucking name. I'll explain why the name is there later on. The point that I was making is with the anti-defection bill and how MLAs are chosen within India, you are not directly represented by anyone. I give you this example, and I've given this before for people new because we started recently on Twitch. We are actually also doing it on YouTube, so you can go subscribe there and here as well. Thank you so much. The issue that in India is, say you are from Mumbai, Pune or whatever, or like Delhi or Kolkata or whatever. You have an MLA that has been assigned to you. Again, an MLA is assigned to you. You do not choose your MLA. There is no option. When the reason why I say an MLA is assigned to you is because, hold on, let me just, my face. Like, okay, I'm just doing this face in case the government wants to come after me. They can so like, oh, I am the one saying. Just making their life easier. Honestly, at this point, I don't give a shit anymore. So an MLA is assigned to you. I say that because for me to represent, like, say Chennai. No, Chennai is united. Like Thiruvananthapuram. I do not have to live in Thiruvananthapuram. I do not have to live in the around areas. I need to only live in the state. And I can represent the people of Thiruvananthapuram. So I don't really give a shit about the people, as long as the party over there makes a case for me to win. Secondly, say I live in the city. I live in the city. I love the city. I love its people. I am extremely involved with the people. And there is a point that the government is deciding that, hey, we need to create a law that every single person in Thiruvananthapuram is going to live in a second tier system where the laws are all against them, where they are going to be discriminated against. And that is something they want to bring in law. I cannot oppose it at all. At all. I cannot oppose it by law because of the anti-defection law. I can't say that, hey, I don't agree with this. You have to give the rights to the people because they voted for me. I am the. You can't say that. You literally cannot say that. You have to go and support whatever your party's decision is. So even if, and this is a very long shot, even if there is someone decent in the BJP who wants to actually do good for the people of his city, he cannot. That is the law. He has to follow what the head of the government decides. We are never going to have someone like Marjorie fucking Taylor Greene. I don't even fucking know why she's an example here, but again, she fits the best. We are not going to have someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene going against her own party because she knows what she's talking about. Because in India, you would be jailed for it. And that's why, like, your MLA is never from the city you're in for that very reason. Because again, between the people you are not raised within, and between the people you have no connection to other than just the title of being an MLA from that city, why would you choose them over going to, like, over supporting your fucking party? Why would you? Why would you risk jail for something like this? You wouldn't. You are not represented by anyone. This could be like the CPIM, this could be by the Congress, this could be by the fucking BJP. It doesn't fucking matter. You are not represented at any level of government, and everything is a fucking lie. 2 fucking bills. One, anti-defection law, and second one, the bill that fucking decides who can be your fucking MLA, and that is the fucking middle finger the government shows you at every point of time. You need to be able to vote for the people who represent you directly, but you are not. Even if you do, the person who is in power that you have voted for with your grit, spit, and spirit can just say, I'm going to follow the fucking party because I don't want to go to jail, no matter what the party does. If tomorrow Mamata Banerjee comes in and says we are making rape legal in West Bengal, and the only opposition is Mahua Moitra, she's like, no, we shouldn't do it. She can't do it in public. She cannot. It is not possible. Because she needs to rally 33% of the entire party, however big it is, to say that, oh, this is wrong. Or she does not, she goes to jail and under the anti-defection law. Why would she? That is the fucking problem in India. You can't go against the fucking government. We see US politics and we are like, oh, they are like, all Democrats are the same, all Republicans. And it is true. They are controlled by their fucking lobbies. They can't go against their fucking lobbies. That is true. But in India, it is much worse. You can't get out of line and talk your mind outside of what your party wants. That's an instant case. The election commission that is sleeping throughout its history, in the face of vote chori, in the face of every single allegation, it is sleeping. But if something like this happens, it's gonna get up and like bar you from going into elections. It's a draconian fucking law. Anyway.
People lived in gated communities and this happened, there would be a massive crisis. But somehow these are in Indore, this has happened in a basti. And so in a basti, people don't care as much. The value for life drops sharply depending on the pin code in which.
Also, just hello, hi. Power the pew forever. Power the peeps forever. Thank you for coming. I see it's your first day. Welcome. We are a nice community. You can like, subscribe, please, if you can. We need it. You can also join the Discord. The Discord is there for people like us to speak, to open up. It's a safe space. Especially it's an LGBTQI safe space. Let me be clear. You can be open as much as you can. The only rule is that you can't spread hatred. That is the only fucking rule. The link should be pasted on the top. Sorry, I'm at a loss of words when it comes to this. It is like pinned. Sorry, yeah.
Which that life is currently living. And unfortunately in India, we are so much...
also we are on YouTube as well. We are live on YouTube right now as well. So if you want to subscribe to that, you can.
About the optics. We constantly want to celebrate what makes us special. We constantly want to celebrate victories, hard fought victories of sports people who have worked their whole lives and we've done nothing to support them, but we feel good about it. But we don't want to actually do any of the hard work to bring any change, and that is across the board. Citizens have forgotten how to citizen. We've forgotten how to take responsibility.
The hard work is to protest. We need to get on the fucking road.
For our cities, we've forgotten how to actually force our governments into action. We've forgotten how to do the PILs.
We haven't forgotten. We are suppressed.
Forgotten how to do the the signature campaigns, and then we say, oh my god, this is terrible. Well, India has very poor value for life. The truth is we all have poor value for life, and we constantly assume it's somebody's bad luck and it's constantly happening to somebody else. We never realize that tomorrow it could happen to us. So tomorrow morning or tonight, if you brush your teeth before you go to bed, I want you to think about the quality of water you're using to brush your teeth, to think about the quality of water that's being used to wash your dishes before you eat off those dishes, and consider the possibility that if we don't hold...
Sorry, I couldn't get over how badly I bombed. I should have typed rough. Dude, that happened quite a while ago. Fine, I understand.
Hold our governments accountable. Tomorrow, sewage could be leaking into our drinking water in any city. The cleanest city in Indore was the cleanest. We're all downwards. It's a slippery slope from there. My research threw this up again, that we have a right to life, a fundamental right to life.
In India, you really don't have a right to life. Literally, everything kills you and the government is not even responding to you. They say, do whatever the fuck you want. This is fucking capitalism.
21, which nobody can take away from you. Clean water, clean air is included in this right to life. It's laughable at this point. Our fundamental rights, we should laugh at them, because nobody takes these fundamental rights seriously. We have a constitution that tells us that we are going to be looked after in this country. It's a lie, because nobody is looking after us. We have schemes, we have...
My only issue with Faye is I love her, I really do. She is amazing at what she does. But I don't understand why she's still a centrist.
We have data, we have solutions, but nobody is interested in actually doing anything about it. The warnings were ignored, infrastructure was neglected, the accountability was delayed, and their lives are constantly treated as expendable. There has to be a line we draw where we say that enough is enough. But the amount of taxes we pay in order to live in our cities, and the poor treatment we have as citizens, the quality of the air that we're having to tolerate, the quality of the water, the mosquitoes, the bad infrastructure, the fact that government simply does not care and does not respond. And normally when they do respond, across the board, state, city and center, all we get is denials. It's almost like we're being gaslit into believing that this doesn't matter.
Yes. That's why every single person on this side of the fence was screaming at everyone. You are being gaslit into Hindutva. You are being gaslit into religious zeal. You are being gaslit into ignoring every single issue that you are having. India desperately needs a new government. Also,
It's okay if you're breathing poison, as long as you get a shiny road in return. But how does it matter if we're all dead in the long term, if we're all breathing?
In India, your life doesn't have value. Let me be very clear. The government does not think your life has any value at all. So,
breathing poison and drinking sewage in this country. And I simply don't understand why we're not reacting to this more as citizens. Now, obviously, you will all write to me in the comment section saying, yes, but what can we do?
Protest. Get the fuck out. Get your ass out. Ask the government what the fuck they are doing. Don't be intimidated by the fucking RSS.
You can read the Constitution.
They are dying too.
And realize that you can start a signature campaign, you can write on social media, you can become active on all these WhatsApp groups that are full of hate and vitriol and bad jokes that uncles put. You can actually use these groups to say something about it. You can file a PIL, you can write to your chief minister, you can write to your mayor, you can write to your city corporator, you can...
Oh, funny thing, actually. I would hate to say this, but it's very, very fascist coded. What, India? Yes, it is. Can you explain to this a little bit more so I can understand what you're getting at? India is fascistic at this point. Like the Modi government is fascistic. We have covered this multiple times on how they use misogyny, on how they use hate against religion and hate against like Muslims and whatever. It is fascistic. They don't care about your life up until when you can do for the state. Exactly. That is exactly. It is fascistic. See, the end goal of capitalism has always been fascism, to be completely honest with you. Like that is always where it ends up. Like even Hitler was a capitalist to core and core. A lot of them use the socialistic tag, but again, Hitler was capitalistic. Everyone fucking knows that. Don't believe the lies that the right wing is ever going to tell you on those points. And yeah, they don't give a shit about your lives. At the end of the goal of Modi right now within the country is keeping in power, keeping the Hindutva dream alive, even though it's dead in the water already. It is keeping people suppressed so they can push the like Adani Ambanis to newer heights of money and power, because how much, like as it was said by an earlier economist, how much money is enough? More than I have. That has been the case anyway. Like Adani Ambani want power. So within the system that we live in, which is an inherently a capitalistic system, for you to make money, you need to exploit someone else. And that exploitation for the ultra rich is literally everyone else. You are the dogs. You are the wretched that needs to be stepped on for them to go ahead. Most normal people are socialists, but the wealthy do a great job at making poor people think taxation is going to take away what little they own. Exactly. It is not. Again, exactly. So everyone is anti-tax, and I have never understood why. And I have always said this before as well. Again, I have like receipts on this. Taxation itself is not bad. How the taxes are used is the thing. We need to talk more about why do our taxes go towards, destabilizing Bangladesh, for example, or like helping Sheikh Hasina's government, or like giving tax cuts to Ambanis and Adanis and all the corporates or the friends of the BJP. Or why your taxes are going towards breaking in Muslim houses? Why not fixing the roads? Why not fixing your life? Why not fixing the water quality of India? Why not removing the fucking, like the worst thing is like children under the age of 5 dying because there's lack of food. Hyper starvation in India. Why not that? That's the problem. See, we covered this, I think, yesterday. Like veterans, like American veterans are cared for because they don't want people who have seen the truth to be saying the truth out loud. A lot of veterans are going to tell you, especially the ones on the road, that they never fought for the country. They fought for like Exxon Mobil. So they don't want them to speak out loud. That's why veterans are not taken care of. You can compare this to India, where India takes care of its veterans. And not as much as you would think. Like they are still treated bad. Exactly. Capitalists don't care anything apart from capital. And like shitting on veterans so they can talk out loud. Like, you know how many veterans will come out and say like, we weren't fighting for the country and they are on the road now. You can either be part of making money for the capitalists or you're going to be on the road. That is the idea. Okay. No, Modi has also refused to pay pension for the veterans. That is true. That comes up with the Agnivir scheme. So the Agnivir scheme basically was to make a side militia for Adani and Ambani so they can be mercenaries and not pay. No, you don't have to be sorry. It is perfectly fine. I'll repeat this 1,000 times. I'm going to do this. That is the whole job, like to repeat stuff until people remember it. It is okay. You're fine. Remember when they sacked soldier for complaining about food quality? Exactly. He made a video like the food quality is so bad they can't survive, and the guy was sacked and court-martialed, I think. So So the thing is, like in India, like the Agniveer scheme, like people don't realize this. The Agniveer scheme is to make a separate militia for Adani and Ambani to hire. That is what it's there for. It is not there for like an easy inlet. Be like only 5% of the Agniveers that are there are going to be part of the army at the end of the day, like official army. Agniveer are an official army. They are the vanguard. They are the ones who die. If you die under Agniveer scheme, this like the same thing. Like death should be like if someone is dying for the country, it should be people dying for they should be given the respect, at least a little bit. So Agniveers don't get any sort of the Agniveers do not get any sort of safety as a safety net for their families. There is no insurance. They are not paid any money whatsoever. They are there, oh, like kill me, I'm gonna die for the country, but no one is ever gonna remember me. That is provided for the official soldiers. Agniveer aren't official soldiers. Do you know about Kashmir too? They try so hard to suppress information. Yeah, we covered it so many times. Like I have people on X trying to get me arrested for this. Lol. Anyway, so the thing about Kashmir is the whole idea behind Kashmir's management in India is based around Israel's management of Gaza. Like how people are suppressed in Gaza is exactly how people are suppressed. Kashmiris are suppressed in Kashmir. That is a straight truth. There's no two ways about it. This deal was made because like then we had the BJP government again. They are like the cause of every single problem in India. They wanted to get close to the US, so they went through Israel and adopted a lot of. That's why we have so much trading with Israel as well. That's why we treat Kashmiris as well the same way, because inherently we don't really give a shit about the Kashmiris. We give a shit about the land. Like the Indian policy over Kashmir is very straightforward. We don't give a shit about the people. We give a shit about the land, and they forget that Kashmir is not made up of the land. It's made up of the people. That's why they try to suppress the stories, the information. We have had nearly an incident every single week in Kashmir. None of it comes up unless it's like really bad. That is the problem. Indian Army has been reported for rape. Like Indian Army has been accused of raping the citizens of Kashmir and Arunachal Pradesh, by the way. They have been accused of extrajudicial killings. That has been happening for a while. They have been accused of kidnapping. They have been accused for a lot of things. That is a humongous problem. Humongous problem. No one addresses that. And now we are basically saying like, oh, we should not address that, but we are going to jail someone like Umar Khalid for calling Kashmir India occupied Kashmir, which is true, which is the official thing over it anyway. Kashmir was an autonomous zone. It has been occupied after the article. Veterans are homeless in the US as well, but in India, apart from Agniveer, most veterans are actually living a more than comfortable life. See, yes, there's a reason for it. In US, veterans do not fight for the country. So if they open their mouth when they come back, that's bad for the country. That's why they don't give shit to the veterans. On the other hand, in India, they're actually fighting at least to a little bit for the country. So they are given. Agniveer scheme came in so because they did not want to give anything to the people who actually get into the military, because they want to give more tax cuts to Adani Ambani, obviously. And Agniveer was also a way to create a separate militia, army trained militia. So think what would happen after Agniveer actually come out of the army after 5 years, if they survive. They would be jobless. They would be talentless, because they're like the age where you're supposed to learn, it's out. Yeah, in America, we fight for the military industry complex like Halliburton, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop and Grumman. Yes, exactly. That is the point. Yeah. They don't fight for the country. Like America has never fought for its country or its sovereignty or its borders. The safety never was there. Like Israel was, like you can talk about ISIS or Taliban, both of which were supported by Israel and US and the CIA. All of America's problems are down to what America did like 5 years before. Even with Maduro, you can claim that the destability of Venezuela was because of US sanctions and US like CIA operations within Venezuela while Maduro was leading and during Chavez. Like even Dalcy Rodriguez's father was murdered by the CIA, tortured and murdered. So the America, like you never really, like no veteran has ever fought for the country. They like to claim, they like to like boast like, oh, well, we are fighting for the country, for the land, the motherland. No, they're fighting for capitalist interests and like to put money in the pockets of people like Trump and Epstein and whatever. Literally no one else. Like what territorial dispute has America fought in recent times? I can bring up Hawaii, but that is still colonization. America, like Hawaii is a colonial territory of America. So is Puerto Rico. These are not even like Hawaii is considered a state, but Puerto Rico is not considered a state, sadly, even though it is a colonial territory of America. And yeah, that is the difference. Like again, Agniveers also was like paramilitary. They wanted to create a paramilitary, like army trained people to go in the RSS, army trained people to work for Adanis and Ambanis just to get RSS a little bit more stronger, because they are not going to have any jobs afterwards. There's already a joblessness crisis in India. These guys don't get any pensions. These guys don't have the skills to go into the goddamn service sector. Because all of their good years where a normal army brat is going to be actually made to study whatever topic he wants to study, these guys are on the border. Netanyahu is worse than Maduro, so the idea that we are doing this over human races, yeah, it is extremely laughable. And we are like, America has been doing this for Israel. Like, it's not even a fucking joke. Like, Israel wants Iran weakened. That's why they are entering Venezuela, because Iran deals with Venezuela because Venezuela can't trade with anyone else because of the US sanctions. Like, literally, like, give me 1 second. I have this open. And thank you so much. I was waiting for the, hold on. I'm not even joking. I was quite literally waiting for a segment to talk about this. I was like, maybe not today. Literally, this happened after.
To Venezuela. They're in every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, you know. They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself. I think we've dealt them devastating blows, but there's still some work to be done with the proxies, and we're doing it.
Well, you mentioned Venezuela. Venezuela's had, Senator Marco Rubio has been speaking about this, or Secretary Marco Rubio has been speaking about this for a long time. Hezbollah does have its foothold in Venezuela, has for a long time, is the drug trade. They may use guns against Israelis, but they use drugs against the United States.
When you destabilize a nation, it is easier for people like Maduro to gain power anyway. So if he was so bad, you would lift the sanctions. Exactly. Also, when you say people like Maduro, like a lot of his reign was actually kind of overblown because of the sanctions itself. So like CIA did cause a lot of protests within Venezuela against Maduro. They weren't natural. That is also something we need to consider. The mass poverty that happened after Maduro took over was a result of the sanctions as well. Not just because Maduro was bad in itself. They talked about this with Chavez as well. Like when Chavez was alive, they always talk, oh, Chavez is so bad. Now he's dead. They are comparing it to Maduro and saying like, oh, after Chavez nationalized the oil reserves, the poverty in Venezuela was halved, but this was not continued by Maduro. Now, if Maduro is gone and Delcy takes over and she's anti-America, we don't know that yet, they are going to be like, oh, Maduro was so amazing and Delcy is now the problem.
Exactly. Well, I wouldn't eliminate the possibility of arms shipment from
that may be next
from Iran to Venezuela. So this has got to change. I mean, and I think President Trump is showing remarkable leadership, facing up to that threat here, supporting your fighting ally, Israel, to fight not only for our interests, but also for American interests against
literally zero American interest in this scenario. Literally zero. Maduro was quite literally sending messages and talking like, hey, we will give you everything you want. You can come in here. You can, we can talk about like the cartels. We can get rid of the cartels. We can make a deal, whatever. Yeah, exactly. I know. It's, yeah, I'm just, again, I have to do something for the people who watch later. So like, if you think I am saying anything against you, I am not. Don't worry about it. I just want to be sure, like, if and when we get a bit more exposure and people actually, like, we are rewatched a lot more on YouTube after the live is done. So I'm also talking to them, like we get like a bunch of people watching afterwards. So this is also for them. Like, they're not always going to read through or have the deeper critical thinking that you possess. So half the people don't read ifs. Like there is an implied if in your sentence, but they don't read that. So it's like, I have to. So don't worry about it too much. Anyway, so what was I saying? I fucking forgot.
these radical
Yeah, so no.
Muslims who basically chant death to America, and they mean it. And
there is literally no reason why America had to invade Venezuela. Because quite literally, Maduro was ready to trade. Maduro was literally ready to trade. Literally, not even joking. Maduro was ready to trade. He has asked to trade, and Trump is the one who's giving him the cold shoulder. Sorry, cleaning up house, there is a reason they want it for free. Yeah, they want the oil for free. Yeah, they don't want Venezuela to nationalize its oil like anymore. That's why the sanctions in the first place. This happened, this is quite literally Iraq. This is quite literally Iraq. Like, hold on. We showed this yesterday. I just want to Iraq Venezuela thing. I like listening to. So this is not much for you. This is much for me as well as people who watch later. This is literally. Oh, fucking hell.
How eerie is the Iraq?
Hold on. How do I get it to the center? Okay. Can everyone hear? Is it clear?
Parallel.
This is literally
Well,
Iraq.
we got one guy making the same case for both wars. And yes, it's who you think.
Saddam Hussein's a threat to my country. He's a threat to our way of life. He needs to go.
Maduro is an existential threat to the people of the United States.
It is time for Maduro to go.
Now, to be fair, some things have changed over the last 20 years. You know, back in the Iraq War, we used to play clips of Lindsey Graham and make jokes suggesting that he's secretly gay. But now, we know that that was inappropriate. But you know what? You know what? I'm not even going to play around anymore. F it. Hit me with the works. Iraq, Venezuela, go!
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we could do.
Can you link this to for me? I can link this to you on Discord. I don't really know how to do this here. Does this help?
Things the easy way, that's fine.
I can link you anything. Like, don't worry about it. We are here about like honesty and giving away actual information that is reference. I am a researcher on the side, which means I like my references and I reference everything. If you're on Discord, you'll get all the references to everything I say. Like, you'll have everything. Also, if you ask me for something and I can't do it, that doesn't mean I don't want to do it. I just don't know how to do it most of the time. I am very stupid when it comes to working with like streaming services. It is extremely so fucking complicated. Every single stream I have had since the start, there is always something or the other that goes fucking wrong.
But the hard way, that's fine.
like today's stream was, I'm not even joking to you. See, I like the link is on the, it should be pinned. I don't know how Discord works. Like, or like how any of this works. If we did not have Bliss here, we would be dead in the water. Yes, that is true. True, Aman, yeah. So Aman is on YouTube. No. You are not stupid. I am stupid. I am the stupider person here. I should have set up the Discord or whatever. I've seen people do it. I just don't know how to.
Chemical weapons as a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
We can get rid of Saddam. It could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom
can serve as a beacon of hope.
Shock and awe.
Shock and awe indeed. How eerie is the Iraq parallel? Well, we got one guy making the same case for both wars. And yes, it's who you think.
Saddam Hussein's a threat to my country. He's a threat to our way of life. He needs to go.
Maduro is an existential threat to the people of the United States.
It is time for Maduro to go.
Now, to be fair, some things have changed over the last 20 years.
Oh wait, we this just repeated himself. So this is like, we can put in the clip of Netanyahu saying like, oh, Iran has weapons of mass destruction since like they are going to be ready like next week, next 6 days. Shock and I was like, the American thing, isn't it? Yeah, I guess. I mean, nothing of this is shocking anymore. To be honest with you. And no one is in awe anymore as well. Everyone fucking hates America. For good reason. The American shock and awe thing is quite literally for Americans, not for anyone else. If you are born anywhere else other than India, nothing of this is shocking and nothing is awe-striking for you. Maybe like Sanghis back in India. That is the maximum. You are going to, they are the only ones who are going to be shocked by any of this. Like, if you are a normal, decent person in Asia or Europe and you see this and you're like, oh, this is so shocking. How could America do this? They literally did this like in the last decade. Trump has been threatening to do this to Greenland for the good part of the year. Green fucking land. Wish me luck going to Delhi today, deep in the abyss. Get a fucking mask. Yeah, if you don't have the internet, it is fucking shocking. But then if you don't have the internet, you're not going to know any of this anyway, right? Also, I'm on good fucking luck going to Delhi. Get a fucking mask. You are like, the AQI minimum is 200. Don't get out of the fucking car if you're going by car. Make sure not to breathe the air without an air purifier. Like every single person in Delhi is smoking at least like 2 packets per day. No, sorry, 2 packets per like 4-5 hours just breathing in the air in Delhi right now. The particulate matter is so fucking thick. You can't see like in front of you. The air quality is fucking horrendous in Delhi. It is fucking horrendous. Were we gonna... Yeah, and then... Again, this is so fucking... Unless you have a lung donor, set up just a pack. Yeah, Aman, make sure you have a lung donor. Somewhere else in the world. Not like... Don't even have the lung donor in India. Have a lung donor somewhere else in the world, because every single city in India has a minimum AQI of 100. At least. You're not surviving India, my friend. Unless you have like something saving you from the fucking air that you breathe. And all because of why? And we covered this earlier. You can go again, check back. All of this shit because Modi wants to fucking run his fucking factories and make sure Adani and Ambani's don't lose a single day of money that comes in from Bangladesh or the neighboring cities when it comes to electricity. All in lieu of not closing down the factories for cement, for electricity. Like around Delhi, there are 5 facilities of thermal coal power plants. Why? Unneeded. And this is like the next news that we are going to cover is fucking funny because like this is next level grifting. Yeah, best thing to do is to smoke a cigarette so the filter of the cigarette can purify the air somewhat. Yeah, that is exactly what you have to do. We already are. Gaurav, we already are. This is just not in the news anymore. That is the problem. The amount of hospital visits because of lung issues and whatever and child deformities born within this time has gone high anyway. Anyway, the next news section is about this. They are letting... Okay, first of all, Ayurveda is a fucking pseudoscience. The only way Ayurveda has so many cured people is because like there are 100 more. Out of those 100, 99 die, 1 survives, and this is the survivorship bias. That's why Ayurveda is seen as something that cures, because everyone else who has taken Ayurveda and not has been cured has died. Literal survivorship bias is how Ayurveda is still relevant within India.
To the News Minute, I'm Anjana Meenakshi, and today we shall be discussing the
India should consider that a national security threat, but for some reason, Ambani Adani, if they consider it a national security threat, what happens is they have to close down the factories. GRAP is there for a reason. They are not putting it forward. They're rather changing the AQI reading. Again, because if you want to fix the air of India, you have to close down these factories for at least for a few years. And they are not able to afford, like Adani Ambani will not be able to afford this. That's why they are not doing any of this. That is the reason. Like, I'm like, there is not like any normal person would understand this. They are trying to make people focus, like the AQI protests, they're trying to make people focus on like, oh, we have to do something about the cars. We have to do something about like the stubble burnings. No, it is the fireworks and it is the fucking factories, nothing else. Singapore has giant air purifiers. It's not going to work in India. India is big. I don't know what was held. The only good thing that's come out of this smog situation in Delhi is that there is a less reported situation in Delhi. Less reported doesn't mean is not happening. Gaurav, be serious. Be serious. Less report doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means that... Who is this? How do I check this? Hold on. There is a message that has been held. I don't know what. I can't check for some reason. Why the fuck can't I check? What is wrong with Twitch? Twitch is such a weird name for a site. Oh, it's your message. Fine. Okay. Okay, fine. The like, don't go there. It is not valid. Like, just because something is not reported doesn't mean it is not happening. Especially because, and we talked about this earlier, rape and misogyny in general is used by the government as a form of oppression. So they want it to be not reported, but people feel the pressure of being harassed, like and sexually harassed especially. Anyway.
The Andhra Pradesh Health Department allowing Ayurveda doctors to perform surgeries.
That's like the biggest joke at this time. Like, Ayurveda, again, pseudoscience.
Now, at the outset, I should clarify that this is not a move that the Andhra government has come up by itself. It's it's been set in stone 5 years ago when, under the 2020 Indian Medicine Central Council PG Ayurveda Education.
The PG means here like the KG PG thing. They are preschoolers. All of the people are preschoolers. Their mental capacities of preschoolers.
Regulations. The union government, the BJP union government, allowed this to happen. It just so happens that the Andhra government is clearly implementing this now, which means going forward, Ayurvedic doctors can very properly, or to use the term properly would not be accurate, but can
because they can't
perform surgery. To discuss this and more, we have with us former Principal Secretary for the Department of Health and Family Planning, Mr. P.V. Ramesh. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, madam. Good morning. Thanks for inviting me to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
The pleasure is ours. So, Mr. Ramesh, I'd like to start off before we get into Andhra. I'd like to ask you, in 2020, the union government passed the Indian Medicine Central Council Amendment Regulations, right? And which basically allowed Ayurveda doctors, and not all Ayurveda doctors, just Ayurveda doctors who have an MS in either.
Oh yeah, Israel has had the right to sexually assault prisoners. No wonder Israel supports India. Wonder is okay. Yeah, so this is a scheme for authoritarian governments, like general fascistic governments, authoritarian governments do this. Nazis had the same thing as like Israel had these protests for like recently for the right of Israelis to sexually assault prisoners. India has had the protests in support of people like Singh, Brij Bhushan, who are known sexual assaulters and rapists, gang rapists as well, pedophiles as well, whatnot. So like it's fucking worse. Like rape is used as a form of oppression. Like if you can get someone to rape, do misogynistic shit, sexually harass within their own homes, you can get them to come out and like murder for religion and whatnot. It's just to create permissibility for this sort of thing so that you feel superior to everyone else. It is being used as that. It is absolutely disgusting, yes.
Or Shalakya Tantra, which are branches of Ayurveda to perform surgery. Right? Now, since 2020, the Indian Medical Association and many...
No, yeah, that is the thing. Like many militaries use rape as a way to push forward this idea that why you should be with us, why you should support us, why you should die for us, because we are letting you do all of this shit. Like for a fascistic movement or for a military who's bound for suppression and oppression, rape becomes a treat for the people involved. Because if you go and oppress a certain minority, that is not enough for them. That is why it is used. That is why these protests are there. Like people protesting for like the rape right. I don't even want to say this. For the right to rape prisoners in Israel are Israeli military people. The people protesting for the freedom of Sangha, for curbing like the rights of women in India, for like the repeal of the laws protecting women in India are the RSS militia. These like RSS is a extrajudicial military organization. That's why they are taught to fight, they are taught to murder, they are taught to harass, all of those sorts. They are the ones fighting on both fronts. These are militia fighting for their right to rape and murder. Don't get me wrong. This has happened literally everywhere. I don't get it. I don't get the evils at such level, man. My mind stopped working if I try to get it. You have to understand, it is much easier to control a population of a militia if you let them do whatever the fuck they want. And if you are teaching them to oppress, you have to teach them to oppress from the beginning. It quite literally is. Like you get in trouble for saying this in India, but RSS, like the people who started RSS were big fans of Hitler. They were big fans of the Nazi regime. Now they're big fans of the Zionism regime. You are gonna find so much shit. I am like, brace yourself for the shit you're gonna find when it comes to the RSS. They are literally the Gestapo. Quite literally the Gestapo. The only reason they can't do shit like the ICE does is, or Israel does, is because they don't have support of like a larger country, larger, more powerful country like the US. They want race riots in India, but like religion riots. They are the KKK, they are the Gestapo. They have the same structure as the Gestapo. They have the same structure as the KKK. Quite literally, the Godman thing with the KKK and the RSS is the exact the same as well. They do go around in bunch like dogs and beat up Muslims in India. They do go around. They literally, like this happened recently. They grabbed a person from their home or from walking on the road. The guy was Dalit. They blamed him for being Bangladeshi and hung him by a tree like the KKK. It is the fucking same. All of these fascist organizations are the fucking same. Funny thing, RSS doesn't have balls. None of them do. Like even a Gestapo doesn't have ball on a personal level. Personally, they are weak as fuck. ICE, the people who are in ICE right now, the modern Gestapo, are quite literally fat ass groiper fuckers. Yeah, exactly. They like even with ICE, they are groiper fuckers who don't have like they haven't talked to another person ever. They just joined ICE because of their because they follow Asmongold or something. Asmongold. I don't know how to say his name. I just say call him Asgold. Like that is quite literally what it is. Like I'm not even joking. The ICE, the Gestapo, the KKK, the RSS, literally same people. Anyway.
Many health experts, activists have been opposing the move. Where do you think this opposition comes from? What's the catch?
Thank you so much for having me. I think the major important issue, I think in the narrative needs to be reframed. The issue is this country, we as Indians, the government, providing quality, affordable, accessible healthcare to every citizen of this country. Is this considered a public good? Do we have policies, programs, systems, and structures in place that ensures that every citizen, whether he or she can afford or not, wherever she lives, can she access quality healthcare? This issue actually has not been discussed and debated seriously, though there have been many talks, many people writing. So the governments have been very ad hoc and cavalier in its approach to providing healthcare. Since there's a deep decline in the quality of healthcare provided by the public health system, the government launched.
Hold on. What was this? Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. I can still imagine some people in ICE will take deadly risks to do whatever they do. I can't imagine a single person RSS to be brave, even if for... See, the thing is, ICE are given guns. ICE are given like batons and shit. And they are legally allowed to murder people individually on an individual level. The RSS are not allowed to do that, at least now at an individual level. So they will get there. Don't worry. They will get there. They just need backing from like a rich country or give it a moment. Unless people are actively trying to stop them like they are in America, they will start. Don't worry. And even if you're talking about an individual level, I do not think you live in these regions that are highly dominated by the minority, because again, segregation is a thing in India. Their RSS people will come in, like a person will just beat up someone and leave. That has happened before. And then get like 10-20 people to beat up like normal people.
Sometime in 2005, the National Rural Health Mission, which has since become the National Health Mission and subsequently become the PMJ. Now, this has taken a very different form. So this is on one side. This is lack of strong political commitment to provide universal quality healthcare to citizens. And the second is further complicated by the fact that we have our own traditional system.
Oh, they do. Eleni, they do. They do have one. They just there is a lot like they do have it. They have a precedent. Like the Modi is quite literally a war criminal. He is quite literally responsible for the massacre of Muslims in the Godhra in 2002. He is on the level of Netanyahu for a very brief moment in history. He's not. People think Trump is unique. He's not. Trump is popping up Modi is older. Trump is the American Modi. Let me be clear. When Trump came into power, one things like every single Indian left wing ever talking was about, he's like, oh yeah, he's just using what Modi is. Like Project 2025 is quite literally what Modi did in India since 2014. Yeah, exactly. Viktor Orban, Bolsonaro. Yeah, I know. All of them are copying Trump. Trump is copying Modi, and Modi is copying Putin. Putin is copying, Hitler. All of them. And I'm not even joking. Trump really likes Hitler. He has a Mein Kampf in his office. Modi really likes Hitler. His entire organization, the RSS, is based around Hitlerian tactics. Everything comes down to Hitler. I don't know why I don't understand the fascination. Like to say this out loud. I like this is bad even to say this out loud, to be completely honest with you. But it's like have something new. Like I am tired because every single stream I have to be like, oh, this Modi is doing Hitlerian, Trump is doing Hitlerian and whatever. Like some new, please. Like we need literally like something a little bit newer here. Like have something new to talk about. Hitler was weirdly popular always. He was like I like everyone used to praise Hitler back in India when I was growing up. Leftist people. He's not getting popular. He is popular. This is something that where is Aman? Like seriously, I think he's on YouTube right now. He was telling us last time, Mein Kampf is taught in his course as saying that he's such like a great leader. I am not joking. That is the current state of affairs. They are banning books talking about like history of India and LGBTQ rights and whatever, but they are pushing forward Mein Kampf in India. Like imagine the worst things happening in India and somehow it is much worse. Shit, I was happier not knowing any of this.
Ayurveda, Siddha,
and now you have to know this too.
Unani and homeopathy. The rubric of Ayush really has these
pseudoscience. All of it pseudoscience.
4 different
None of it is ever proven.
strands. And then the allopathic medicine, which is sort of universal.
Again, allopathic medicine has, they recommended, Aman, thank you for coming again. Yeah, they recommended Mein Kampf as a personality growth book. Yeah, exactly. Also, allopathic medicine, this is like the basics of issue with Indians talking about homeopathy is worse than Ayurveda. Not really. Homeopathy is sugar pills. You will die because of the disease. Ayurveda will kill you itself, even if you weren't supposed to die. That is a difference. Like you can have an entire bottle of homeopathic medicine and nothing will happen. Ayurvedic medicine, you have a little bit, you die anyway because of arsenic poisoning. The other thing is, the issue here is like Indian doctors, even this guy, will say that allopathy is what we are using right now, and that is not true. We are using modern medicine. Allopathy is different. Allopathy was been scrubbed away and not being used since like in the 1900s.
Now, which has evolved over a period of time. Now, the major problem has been that these two has evolved very, very differently because each of these systems, the Ayurveda, which had come from the traditional Indian learnings, which essentially based on certain fluids in the body, how they interact
The concept of miasma.
with the cosmic system, and the use of the natural leaves and other herbs to treat these medicines, these ailments. So that is where the problem really comes. There's been real effort to understand how these systems, these indigenous systems, these traditional systems really work.
And all of them have failed. Literally all of them have failed. I was from this field of research.
And application of the modern scientific methods of inquiry to conduct further research and then carry this forward has not
Literally all of them have failed.
happened. Instead, what the governments have been doing is, number one, independently promote Ayush because it's traditional, it's sort of
They are doing it independently because all efforts to make it scientifically backed have failed, because science comes back every single time to suggest that Ayurveda is a pseudoscience. It doesn't work. But because of this, what happens with Ayurveda is that they can't push it on a scientific basis. So now they are just pushing it for the sake of pushing it, to create this idea that, oh, Hinduism, oh, whatever, oh, Indianness, oh, this is our science, this is our medicine. No, fuck all. It doesn't work. Just accept it and move on. But they don't want to do it. SS was much efficient and effective. These just are frauds doing useless shit. SS was also a fraud. Like, you are just taught very highly of them. They are just the same shit. SS was also fraud for its, like, SS did what it did over the course because of the time period. If India goes to war with anyone, if we are on a war footing and everything is suppressed, if people like you and me who can talk about this are suppressed, they are going to end up being the same. It is not that they are they were much more efficient or effective. It is quite literally the time that we are living in right now. That is the only difference. They want to be that. Like, what did the RSS do right after independence of India? How do you know how many people they killed over the border for them to cross over because they were anti-Muslim?
Way too many. The second is to adopt some of those.
Yeah, I understand. See, the first people the Nazis killed weren't just the Jews. They also killed the black and brown communities. They also killed the trans, the LGBTQ. The same shit is happening with the RSS. The only reason why you think that the RSS is less effective than the SS is because you get to see the failures. You just don't get to see the victories. They are as worse as each other. That is true.
Ideas and ideals and principles from the allopathic medicine and then incorporate into the Ayush system. So that is where we come to surgery.
Trans. It was the trans. Like, the first people they targeted were the smallest minority within Germany back then.
Surgery. Though it's been said, it's been reported.
Everyone kind of wants to be first, but like, it is still the trans.
Sushruta was the first great surgeon. Actually, it is.
I don't agree to that. Not based on what I've read. The commies were an ideological opposition, I agree, for the Nazis because they were capitalists, but the trans were a religious opposition because they wanted the Aryan purity would not allow them to deal with trans people.
Said that way back 2,200, 300 years back. He had done plastic surgery using ant intestines to replace a nose that had been lost in a war. Right. And so, we do not know how much of it is mythology and how much of it.
They targeted the Magnus Hirschfeld Institute, which was an attack on LGBTQI folk, but that was later. I'm not talking about like official attacking. I'm talking about like ground level. Like, when we talk about like, oh, if the ice gets much worse from now, like whatever, like if the MAGA gets much worse from now, and we are going to talk about how they were targeting like brown and black people first. But no, they were not. When it comes to Roe v. Wade, when it comes to the increased attacks on LGBTQ, they were targeting trans first. Then they targeted the black and brown, and then they were like whole blown like, oh, we are directly just going to attack the Antifa. We are just directly going to attack like any organization that supports LGBTQ. That's why I say on the ground level, the transfer first, because you can't identify commie just by walking around. That's why I say it. By history, fine, I agree with you. Like in India, for example, if we are like, again, with India, if we talk about the regime has really gone against the Muslims, the Dalits, the STs and OBCs. Yes, that is true. So, but if the trans have been oppressed within India for like since the beginning, like trans rights have not been a thing. Even if they can be written down in paper, they are not done anything. Like, I am not going to compare suffering here. I don't want to.
It is hard, evidence-based documentation. But nevertheless...
Yeah, no, see, I agree. You're going by the like official recorded chronological order. But like even within the chronological order, people really forget like suffering of certain minorities, which is there, but they just don't want to look at it. That is the problem. Like, just whatever. Just pisses me off.
The belief persists. And there's also people who say the first great head transplant was that of Lord Ganesha. So, so we are really trying to implant these ideas into the system that exists today in 2025. And I'm sure the National Indian Medical Council's the recommendation or its resolution, which the Ayush Ministry seems to have accepted, that the Shalya Shastra and Shakalya Shastra can perform these 58
fucking bullshit.
Different surgeries. Now, it raises a number of questions. The questions being, what about anesthesia? Who provides the anesthesia? What is the level of training?
No. There is no such thing as anesthesia in Ayurveda. So no one. You have to suffer through, because that's what Ayurveda is.
Meaning that the Ayush doctors receive in terms of their own surgical skill sets, their understanding of the anatomy, physiology, the pathology, and what's the diagnosis that leads to surgical intervention. Because the traditional Ayurveda or homeopathy or Siddha or Unani do not have a strong surgical...
I fucking forgot it was on mute again. Yeah, both of them did suffer.
Component to it.
So coming to exactly that, right? Because we are looking in practice what this means. So there are 58 surgeries in total, 39 under Shalya Tantra, which we commonly know as general surgeries, and 19 under Shalakya Tantra, which is disease of eye, ear, nose, throat, head.
And let me just tell you, both of these are bullshit.
Or orodentistry, right?
Yeah, it is fucking lunacy to refer to God and mythology to prove fucking science. It's fucking stupid.
So we can't look at all 59, obviously, but let's look at 3 of them. So one is bowel resection, which is cutting out a damaged or diseased part of the intestine. The other is cholecystectomy, the surgical removal of the gallbladder, or a glaucoma surgery, an eye operation. So let's look at these 3. And my question...
See, I will say this again. I'll say this 1,000 times. The only reason why Ayurveda has a track record of curing people is they only can cure things that they get cured by itself. Everyone else fucking dies. It is a survivorship bias.
The question here is twofold, sir. One, what kind of training do MBBS doctors have to undergo to do these 3 procedures in particular?
See, Indian MBBS training is also not good enough. Now they want to introduce Ayush doctors in this.
And
I'm not even going to call them doctors. These are fucking charlatans.
two, are Ayurveda doctors equipped to do these kind of
They
surgery?
are
The
not.
government believes they are. What do you think?
They are not.
The allopathic doctors study MBBS for 5 years, do an internship for a year, and then do masters in general surgery for 3 years. If you're a general surgeon, then you really are operating on cholecystectomy or intestinal resection. You are an ophthalmologist, then you operate on the eye. So it's a 3 years of intensive training on these procedures that the specialists. So the basic surgeon, the MBBS doctors
Hold on, guys.
are not expected to perform any of these procedures unless it's an emergency. They are not fully equipped or trained to perform an intestinal resection or a cholecystectomy. So this is one important aspect. Now, second is the specialist general surgeon. They operate nowadays. There's a pinhole keyhole surgery. You don't really open up the abdomen. You have very sophisticated equipment which enables you to reach the gallbladder and resect it. So there is a very sophisticated techniques which, number one, first and foremost, for diagnosing why there is need for a surgical intervention. Number two, anesthesia that is safe, that ensures that you not only are put to rest during that particular period, your vitals are monitored, and then after surgery you recover, and then there is a post-operative treatment. There's a treatment to prevent infection, which is potentially possible. So this has evolved over a period of almost 150 years. I mean, if you trace back history to about 200 years of surgery, and when first ether was introduced as anesthesia, and then over a period of time, a number of transformative changes have taken place to reach where we are. Similarly, an ophthalmic surgeon. So this is a team that operates. It's a surgeon assisted by assistants, nurses, anesthesiologists, and then there is a post-operative recovery and treatment. Now, for Ayush doctors who go through their learning, having been a vice chancellor of Health University, I have some understanding, and apart from being principal health secretary, I have some understanding of the education that they receive. In my days, which was about 15 years ago when I was principal secretary, we didn't have the specializations which we are talking about today. The 2020 notification that the Ayush doctors would be undertaking surgery didn't exist in that time. It was expected that the Ayush doctors essentially would be functioning as physicians in those people who they believe, there are a number of Indians who rightly believe that Ayurveda or Siddha or Unani or homeopathy is very effective, especially for chronic diseases.
It's not effective, Jesus fucking Christ. Chronic diseases. See, this is... Jesus, why is he parroting the same fucking lies?
Diseases to which allopathy may not have
That
an
is
immediate
not fucking
answer.
true.
So I'm not sure to what extent these Shalya Shastra experts are prepared to undertake this sophisticated surgeries. But nevertheless, let me raise few important issues which are relevant. Number one, who gives anesthesia? Is this anesthesia with the modern anesthesia, the allopathic doctor who gives the anesthesia, or if you adopt the old method of hitting a person with a hard rock or a stone so that he becomes unconscious and then you operate? What is the real? How do you really ensure that it's a safe surgery?
Right.
Number two is what is the instruments that are used, and number three is what is the post-recovery pathways, post-surgical recovery pathways? What is the protection from potential infections?
There are none because Ayurveda does not believe in bacteria or viruses or pus for that matter.
recovery, rehabilitation, these aspects, how are they covered? It's not clearly known. But more importantly, let me raise a few more issues. Number one is, why are we doing this? I mean, where is the need to authorize tomorrow? I mean, if we start with Shalya Shastra experts to perform general surgery and sophisticated surgery like cholecystectomy, tomorrow you may authorize an RMP to also to perform similar surgeries. I'm not sure why this is required. Number two is, are we able to fully utilize the services of the specialists that we already have? The general surgeons, the anesthetist.
No, we are not, because we have a lot of general surgeons. We have so many that a lot of them are going jobless. The issue with general surgery in India is that they are behind a wall of class. They do not want to work for poor people. They do not want to work for the actual needy. They want to work for the rich. That is a problem in India. We have enough people passing out. These people don't want to work in poorer regions. They want to work wherever their asses can be most secure and warm. That is all there is.
It is in Andhra Pradesh. Are we able to fully utilize? What is the urgent need to introduce this new stream of surgeons whose training is suspect, to say the least, and their skill set and their competence is not validated.
Okay. So one thing I was keen on is looking at glaucoma. Andhra, for instance, has high instances of glaucoma. And when I spoke to you for a text interview I did with you for the News Minute, you also said that among the 5 South Indian states, Andhra performs the worst when it comes to health indicators. So let's talk about that a little bit. How does this move of allowing Ayurvedic doctors to perform surgery affect Andhra's health system? Because there is no dearth of doctors already.
Yeah, I mean, Andhra is one state. I mean, like other South Indian states, the 5 South Indian states has more than a lack of doctors, allopathic doctors. I'm not even counting the Ayush doctors.
Modern medicine,
the
allopathic.
Doctors
Allopathy has been disregarded in the 90s.
Andhra Pradesh Medical Council. I mean, that works out to be almost one doctor for every 550 population. So almost about every 500 have one doctor. The general international norm for the WHO recommendation is 2.8 health functionaries for 1,000 people. This includes ASHA worker, A&M, the public health nurse, everybody together.
The problem in India, and this is a major problem in India, is that we don't have enough nurses. We need more nurses. We don't need more doctors.
So Andhra has surplus doctors. India has a problem, but Andhra or the South Indian states do not have problem of manpower supply, particularly of doctors. In addition, Andhra Pradesh produces about 6,500 MBBS graduates and about 3,000 and odd specialists in different disciplines. Now, the problem really is twofold. One problem is that is their deployment? How are these doctors? Where are they positioned? Where are they placed? So you have surplus in certain
the
parts,
cities only
and you
because
have
they don't want to
a
work
shortage
beyond.
in certain parts. Number two is we don't have a referral system. A primary health center essentially catering to preventive, promotive, and the first level healthcare, referring them to secondary and thereafter to tertiary. So we have a poor management of the health system. And this is further complicated by an explosive growth of the tertiary private hospitals. Tertiary private hospitals that are unregulated, that do not have a quality parameters that are defined, the clinical pathways that do not exist, the pricing that is totally obtuse and opaque. So consequently, what happens is that and also ethically challenged in many cases. So you have a problem on multiple counts. So the problem is really a very clear health systems-based policy, programs, and the managerial capacity.
Sure. whatever. The guy is going on and on about a lot of shit. So what we are going to do today is he's fucking slow. Like, I don't understand this. Why are fucking Indians so fucking slow when they're talking to on an interview? Just be a little bit faster. I already have ADHD. Anyway, we are reaching the 3-hour mark and I have to go because we again started late today. We will be back on Tuesday. Thank you so much for coming, every single one of you on YouTube, on Twitch, on everyone. Thank you for support. If you are still looking to join the Discord link is available. It is linked here. It is on YouTube. You can also follow me on X. Yeah, no way this guy shits in the morning. Yeah, true. Fine. The point is I have to head out now, so I'm gonna head out. You can find the Discord link on YouTube as well. If you don't, I don't know how it works with Twitch, but the YouTube link is the Discord link is on the front page. You can go click on that if you are looking for it. For YouTube, I'm sorry, I have to go. It's really late here. I'm sorry. I know you came in for Lara Croft. We'll have it definitely Tuesday. I promise that. Anyway, but I seriously have to go. Anyway, we are also on YouTube. If you're here on Twitch, you want to be subscribed on YouTube, please do. We are under the same name. Clips are posted over there, but we are a bit slow because we're still looking for editors. We still don't have an editor and I can't do everything by myself. I have a full-time job as well. Anyway, I'm going to head off. Thank you for coming. Shabba khair. Good night.